To lead the Skol chant and sound the Yeller horn, please welcome the 31st Adjutant General of the Minnesota National Guard, Major General John Jensen.
Well, hello, this is John Randall, Minnesota Vikings legend, and it is my pleasure to say, Minnesota Vikings fans uncensored, are you ready? Keith, get your people up. Let's go. Skol, 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 baby. Let's go.
Hello, Vikings fans. Welcome to the Let's Skol show in week 8 of the offseason. I'm Fish. With me, as always, I've got Mr. Positivity, Cody Bowden. Hey, who greets with smoke, Skolful Shack. Our Captain Keith will be joining us momentarily. He's doing his Keith stuff in the background, getting us going. So, hey, Kwesi, back in office. But where? Combine's kicked off. Boom, boom. And rumors have started. Now the QB has entered the ring. We're going to talk about some free agents tonight. We're going to be going over some defensive tackles, the fat guys, and linebackers. We're going to go around the Gallahorn with our hot takes and make our Purple Prophecy predictions. But before we break that ice, we need to send out our condolences to the Rondell Moore and Roniel Whitaker's families and friends. As everyone knows by now, they both passed away last weekend. And they weren't Vikings for a long time, but they were Vikings, by God. And it's a damn shame from what it looks like that two lives could just so tragically and unnecessarily be taken. All the potential in the world with Rondell, and God bless Roniel Whitaker. And Cody, why don't you say something about this little matter right here?
So I say something almost every show towards our end, at the end when we sign off. And I always say, you guys listen to us, right? So we can listen to you. If you got any kind of issues out there, you guys take your time out of the day to come in and watch what we have to say, listen to what we have to say. We can also pay that same respect back to you if you're going through any kind of issues like that. If you don't have anybody to turn to out there and you need a call, it's super easy. You just pull out your cell phone, any kind of phone, just call 988, right? 988, and you can even text that number too, and they will respond back to you. I know being part of the military, this kind of stuff kind of hits kind of home for us over here. And for all the military people out there, if you are having trouble, Military One Source has a good number. That number is always available. And of course, we are always available since you guys are available for us.
Shaq.
Pretty much piggybacking off of what Cody said. I know us being a male-dominant show, a lot of people feel like, men have to be strong, and we go through a lot being a man in society. But sometimes things don't always go our way, and it's okay to go seek therapy or call that number like Cody said. It's okay to talk to somebody. You don't have to handle everything on your own.
Yeah. And, fellas, as the elder statesman of our little group here, I'm going to say that as Gen X, we're notorious for being self-sufficient. You will very rarely have a guy of my age group be vulnerable and reach out. They're just going to try to deal with things silently. To that I say, If you know somebody and you think they might be in trouble, give them a call. Don't text. Give them a call. Or if they're close enough, go see them. You just might save a life. And I know this from experience. You just get somebody talking and they might be on that precipice. And all of a sudden they hear a friendly voice and it can bring them back. It can avert disaster. So rest in power, Rondale Moore and Rondale Whitaker. Now, having said that, let's break this ice. Fellas, how about a little bit of a heat check? Where are you at as Minnesota Vikings fans right now?
Probably the same way into the season. There's a lot of obstacles to go through and around this offseason. It's probably the most amount of obstacles that we've faced since probably 2021, maybe 22 heading into that year, trying to shed off all that cap. And it's because of the salary cap right now. I mean, we're even with the new salary cap at 301, thinking about getting a good free agent at a position of need. It might not even happen for us. I think we have to shave $77 million, and that's the $42 million to get cap compliant, and then another $10 to $14 million for draft picks. And then if you want any kind of free agency, add another $20 million to that. So that's a lot of big numbers right there for us to get down there. So I'm just about the same as last year. I think we had a shot at the playoffs if our O-line stayed healthy. I'm hoping we can hold that together heading into this next season, because I think it's going to be looking like a run it back kind of thing with just a couple players gone just to get cap compliant.
What up, Cap?
What's going on, fellas?
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to get right in here. I'm actually warming up as a Vikings fan. And the reason is because we are in cap hell again. However, we got 4 picks on the top 100. I'm kind of optimistic. I'm pretty optimistic that we can address some real needs in this draft with some quality players out of the draft that could start. There's several people in positions of needs that have the potential to be day one starters, and that's exactly what we need to fix this problem. Not next year's draft, this year's draft. We could put ourselves in a situation where next year we're drafting to get ahead of the sticks, and I like that.
I don't know. Go ahead, Shaq.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, it really depends what day of the week you ask me. I've been so up and down this off season so far, and we're only like a month into the actual off season. And honestly, I go back and forth with, you know what, we can be contenders this year. We can go to the playoffs. We can win a playoff game. And then there's other times where, like, actually today, I'm just like, there's actually no hope for this team this season. Like, we're just in a very bad place. One of the worst places I can remember us being in an off season. Like, we have to cut a lot of players just to get cap compliant. And we've talked about a lot of these guys, and it's actually going to take more than the guys that we assume are going to get cut. Like, we're going to end up losing some players we like, and we really don't have money to go out there and sign free agents to replace them either. Like, we're going to sign some guys, but it's probably going to be kind of bottom of the barrel in a bad free agency. And I mean, I believe in our coaching staff, but I think that can only take you so far. I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll surprise me with what they're able to do with the cap. I stick to what I said last week. Our best opportunity is to run this thing back as much as possible. I just don't know how possible that is with us already being like $45 million in the hole. And then you add, at a minimum, $8 to $9 million for draft picks. That's not even including any kind of free agents. I mean, we're over $50 million in the hole. And I know they could play with that. I know they can. It's just, I don't see too much being done with it. So, like I said, any day you ask me, you can get a different answer. Right now, I'm pretty cold on the 2026 Vikings.
Well, I feel like we just got to cut some dead weight. Like you said, we are going to have to lose a couple players that we like. But I feel like with the coaches that we have currently on staff, we're not that far off from going back to the playoffs. It just depends on if I feel like I'm stuck at the point where if we do make the playoffs, how far can we go? Like, can we make those improvements to actually, not just win one playoff game, but go deep into the playoffs? Because I don't even think one playoff game will help this current staff stay together. Because we in cap hell now, but once Justin Jefferson contract finally kicks in, and then Christian Darrisaw contract kicks in, pretty much we're gonna be looking at, well, how can we build? And we're gonna have to use this draft and maybe next year's draft to build a new foundation for this team. But if you look back, basically, like, I'm pretty sure I wish I could visit what the Patriots fans and the Seahawks fans was thinking at this time last year. How far did they think their window was to go to the Super Bowl? Because I'm pretty sure neither fan base thought they was going to go to the Super Bowl during this time period last year. So it's possible. We just got to basically hit on every facet of all season.
No, this time last year, Seahawks fans were disappointed that their team went out and signed Sam Darnold to $100 million. So to your point, you don't know. But yeah, that's how I feel. And kind of like what Collins said here, that it's up to the ownership to have an honest look in the mirror, see which way they need to go. And that's true. I do think the Vikings need to decide which way they want to go, whether it's going to be we're trying to compete this year or we're trying to compete to put together, a roster that can compete for years to come. I don't know that you can accomplish both of those goals this season. I think they're kind of counterintuitive to each other. But he says it should be through getting quality depth through the draft, quality over quantity in free agency. I definitely agree with what he's saying, and especially the draft part. And one of the people we've all blamed the most is Kwesi for our draft pick lack of success. Whether that's fair or not, we're actually going to really find out about that because he will have no part in our draft. However, since firing him a month ago, Kwesi has bounced back and landed a job with the 49ers, what is being called a executive. General Manager John Lynch says the exact title will be finalized after the draft, which I find that a little bit funny. Like, yeah, we're giving him a job. We're not exactly sure what it is, but we're going to figure it out after the draft. He's not going to be part of the draft.
You just sit right over there for a minute.
Yeah, let us handle this, and then we'll find something for you to do. But Kwesi was with the 49ers from 2013 to 2019, and reportedly he reached out to John Lynch, kind of just to talk about things, what he was going through. And Lynch apparently told him that, they always have a spot for him. So Kwesi jumped on that. Do you guys find it surprising that after a month of being fired, Kwesi's already in another front office?
No, and I'll tell you what, it's a good lesson for any of us. Don't burn bridges.
Mm-hmm.
In your life, in the jobs that you've had, don't burn bridges. If you got to go respectfully. You never know when you might be in a spot and be like, hey, man, you give that 2-week notice, work your dang tail off until the last hour of the last minute of the last day of that 2-week notice and make sure they miss you when you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it funny Kwesi called John, and it wasn't the other way around. Like, John wasn't seeking Kwesi out. It was Kwesi seeking a position out. I mean, and that takes a lot, a lot of manhood to do that. To, like, after you getting fired, say, hey, I need a job. I'm going to go out and figure it out. And you go through those connections. Like, I'm pretty sure every coach, probably every former GM does. They get a hold of their connections that they were a part of. It's just, to me, it's funny because it almost seems like, hey, I got fired, John. I kind of need a job. What do you got for me? And he's like, well, I got something right now. We'll name it later. And that's the funny part about it. But it's good for him. He bounced back. He's got a job in a really prestigious organization with the 49ers. So it just resets and try it again for Kwesi. So I think he needed more experience on his belt, going from the Browns, a terrible organization, to the Niners, and only having that few subtle years with the Niners, or the Niners, the Browns, whatnot. And I think this is good for him. A nice little career reset before he tries jumping into it again. But this time, take a little bit more time working that aspect.
So does anybody have the Wilfs numbers? I'm looking for a job.
I don't even know if they have Twitter. But Shaq, let's say the 49ers go ahead and win the Super Bowl now. Like, would this be Sam Darnold all over?
I did propose this. I feel like it depends on how much Kwesi's involved with the all-season decisions. But just know our organization is gonna get made fun of again because of a firing or a let go, and then that person going on to win the Super Bowl. You start to have to look at not just coaching but ownership at that point, and I think that's when the Wilfs will sell the team. Right, Fish?
No, they're doing that way before that. That's happening in the next 2 months.
What was also interesting is, those grades, that come out, those report cards for every organization. Once again, the Vikings were one of the top ones. I think they were number 2 overall behind the Dolphins, which I think that's how it was last year too. Kwesi got an A+ as a GM. I would like to know what the criteria is. And then you had Brian Flores with a B+ as a defensive coordinator. So those were 2 things that I found very interesting on there. And it's also interesting that those report cards or whatever weren't even supposed to come out. Like, that was supposed to be like kind of behind the scene things. I guess owners did not like that those report cards were coming out because some of them, it was a bad look for them, and good. Like, hold them accountable, because I guarantee you the teams that graded well are the ones that were leaking that.
I can tell you what the criteria is. It's dollar bills. Them players voted. The people voted. Thanks for all that money. Sorry, Minnesota, that your 2026 salary cap is messed up.
I find it hard to believe that Pittsburgh only got 5 bathrooms. For 32 players, not including the staff.
And Zoe says the O+, and none of us even know what he does here. So I'm guessing that these grades have nothing to do with what they do or what, how they enhance the performance on the field. It's probably just, how nice of a guy are you? Like, do the players like you? They must be likable people. And Brian Flores with a B+, he probably has rubbed some people wrong. There probably is somebody quietly in there marking him bad. Petting.
I mean, he probably knows their drink combo. So when they go to the bar,
man.
Get the regular.
Wes Phillips is never dodging that. Like, he's never dodging that.
Let me just tell you something, though. That kind of dispels the rumors about Kwesi being abrasive, like him having a different personality behind closed doors. Because if it's a popularity contest, he's pretty popular. That's and all true. That stuff they were talking about, him having to be the smartest person in the room and talking down to people and not whatever being, that would kind of just shake that, wouldn't it?
I can tell why Pittsburgh is one of the last teams. They still have $42 million in cap space for next year. They don't pay anybody over there besides TJ Watt. We're out here handing $48 million.
Is an A. The head coach is an A, absolute A.
Here, Byron Murphy, you're a cornerback 3. Here's $48 million.
So I see some people in the chat talking about combine scores, and that's what's going on right now. This is the combine week. How do you guys feel about the combine? Do you think we can actually learn stuff about the players? Does it translate at all to what they do on the field?
Yeah, I think it can. I think we can learn about where defenses and offenses are going in the NFL today. Guys are getting faster on defense, and right now I think they matched or even surpassed what offenses are doing. You guys look at all these 40 times that are coming out there. There's defensive tackles running 4.7s out there. It's ridiculous. There's linebackers in the what we see, a 4.3, 4.46. Like, they're fast, right? And you can kind of tell the past, I think it was 5 years since 2020, the NFL's explosive play rate went down to 10%. 10%. And the average yards per game went from 349 to 317. A big old 30-yard gap difference, and points scored are down right now. So it's like man, defense are getting faster. Now I want to see what the combine does for the offensive players. What are they looking at for right there? Is it routes? Is it precision? All that kind of stuff. Is that what they're watching now more than they are watching speed? If you think about it, a defender starts 6-7 yards behind the line, that linebacker, right? They already have a jump start, and you add that speed to it. I'm sorry, offenses need to figure it out a different way because speed is not working for offenses anymore. Defense have taken over.
I think speed is the most overrated attribute that comes out of the combine. A lot of times guys that, run good 40s, they get drafted really high and they don't pan out. As far as explosive plays and all that being down in the NFL, so is, the RPO, so is, motion. Like those were things that caused explosive plays, but what got better was defensive schemes and defending those types of offenses. I mean, being fast on defense, yeah, it definitely helps, but I really think speed is kind of the most overrated thing that comes out of the combine. Like I was trying to watch it today. And just watching the 40s, like, all right, that's cool. He ran that fast, but none of them like, oh man, that puts him on my radar. Seeing them do like the W drills and the cones and all that. Okay, now you're telling me a little bit more how this guy's hips move and can he track a ball? Like that kind of means a little bit more to me.
I don't know.
What was that kid last year that ran that sub 4.240, the wide receiver, Xavier, got drafted by the Chiefs? He dropped his body weight down to 160 pounds for the combine to do it. So he kind of gamed the system a little bit. And what did he do in the NFL? Was he okay? Was he even – was he okay?
He was just okay.
But if you look at it, the busts are coming from the offensive side that are the fast guys, like John Ross and that blazing 40 he had.
That's not true. They put up the top cornerbacks with the top 40 score since 2003, and there's maybe 3 out of 10 names that actually amounted to anything.
Yeah,
was Trey Waynes up there?
30% hit rate on them.
Huh?
What about
was Trey Waynes up there? Trey Waynes.
No.
Was he up
there? No, he
Bust
wasn't. Trey Waynes was all right, man. Trey Waynes was all right. Like, I get it. He was a first rounder, so more was expected out of him. But I think Trey Waynes was a solid starting quarterback in the NFL. I said quarter, didn't I? Cornerback in the NFL for the Minnesota Vikings. Then he went to the Bengals, and I don't know what happened there. But for us, he was solid, but I get it. He was drafted in the top half of the first round.
Would you say he's as solid as Byron Murphy, and would you give him Byron Murphy's contract?
Thank you, George. We appreciate it.
Cuatro amigos. No, I won't give him Byron Murphy.
I wouldn't give Byron Murphy's contract.
Yeah.
Let's see, we're all coming around. So for a guy like me, this is my first actual exposure to these players because, as I've well documented, I don't watch college football. So I hear the rumors about these players, and I get an idea, oh, this guy's good from y'all and from other people. And then I get to see, this is what I get to see. Me personally, I think, like you, Keith, speed, right? Speeds are good, but I feel like some of the exercises, just a couple of them, need to be changed. I don't give a damn about the upper body strength of an offensive or defensive lineman. Their power comes from the lower body. I want to see them, how much can they squat? How much can they deadlift? Stuff like that. I don't care how much they bench. I mean, just a couple things like that. But like the lateral movement drills are nice. It's nice to see them do it. And, it's good to get excited. That rare hit, like Nick Emonwari last year. What did he raised his draft profile by a full round in the combine? Wasn't he a third rounder? And then after the combine, he got picked in the second by the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. So it's a little bit interesting for me, but I do think that they need to change a few things up.
Yeah, they could update the drills like we've been talking about for the last couple combines. We always bring this up. Like some of the drills we don't need to see offensive lineman run a 40-yard dash. We don't need to see a defensive lineman run a 40-yard dash. They could just drop that down to a 20-yard dash because the 10-yard split is the most important part. I know broad jump is important for all players because it shows how explosive, like you was talking about, Fish, how explosive the lower body is. So the further they jump, that shows how much explosion, like for defensive linemen, them exploding off the line, and for offensive linemen exploding off the line. So basically, it's certain drills that they need to implement so we can get a better gauge as to how good a player is. But the way I compare the combine to is kind of like the film is basically if you're a student and you go through a semester, 2 semesters, that's the film. You should already know how the student is. And then the final exam is the combine.
So, Shaq, have you been able to watch any of these first couple of days? I know you've been working and stuff, so I don't know if you've actually had a chance to watch any. I just wonder if any players have popped out to you and Cody.
I haven't been able to watch any of it. I just been seeing a lot of posts and tweets about players going off. I'm pretty sure me and Cody picked up on the linebacker of the combine, Sonny Styles. He is showing off. Like he already had good film. He already had good film in college besides that playoff game. But he really showed that he belongs as a top end linebacker in this draft. And he might even be able to play safety. But go ahead, Cody.
I like Sonny Styles. I just hope he's not the next Isaiah Simmons coming out as that kind of freakish athlete. But we just saw last year with the safety in Iomari from the Seahawks, and he was a 10 score on the Raz, smoked the combine, and he ended up being almost rookie of the year for the defensive side, right? So it's interesting, especially with what I would think is speed on defense is key to match up these offenses now. And one guy I really liked watching was the linebacker out of UCF actually, and the defensive tackle coming out of Florida and Banks. So it's interesting to see those kind of guys out there on that field. But yeah, Sonny Styles smoked that combine, and I'm kind of a little bit more giddy than I was last time.
I will say this, I try to manage my expectations and think, what can we get? What's realistic for us to get? And the guy that kind of jumped off the page for me as for what's realistic is what we can get, Colin just mentioned him, is Jacob Rodriguez.
Yeah, linebacker.
That's a guy I'm starting to like.
He's been slowly ascending up draft boards. Like when I first was watching mock drafts, like he was like a 5th rounder. I think they got him up into the 3rd now. And I think it's mostly just because of his size, why he was, being projected so low. But he's showing he's got that heart and that gameplay. I mean, he showed it during the season, and I think he used to be a quarterback. So like kind of makes you think Chaz Surratt, but no.
Oh God.
This is not a Chaz Surratt situation. This guy can actually play defense.
He can tackle, unlike Chaz. He can tackle.
I mean, you got to say the right name. Super Bowl winning Chaz Surratt.
Super Bowl winning Chaz Surratt. All right.
Yeah, I do like
on that.
Sonny Styles is going to be a 1st-round pick, but there's a guy out of Georgia that's a linebacker that I think climbs boards because of this combine read, and I think it's CJ Allen, the Georgia linebacker. I know Robbie probably be proud of that SEC guy. That dude is off the charts, really good, and he's built like a linebacker.
Yeah, he old school for sure. He's the you go back, think about like how EJ Henderson was for us. He wasn't really that much of a coverage guy, but you don't have to worry about running backs running him over or him getting caught up in the scrimmage of the offensive line, defensive line battle. Like he'll be able to get to the backfield. He's good at attacking. I do like CJ Allen from Georgia.
And yeah, Tommy, I was seeing that too. Colton Hood looked really good today in the combine, for as good as you can look during the combine. I liked him. I liked Avion Terrell, and a guy that maybe later on who I had no idea who he was until today was Marcus Allen out of UNC. Like he's probably a day 3 pick, but I like the way he moved out there. So yeah, there are definitely some cornerbacks, and that's good because cornerback is a need. That's something we got to hit, and we probably do need to take 2 of them in this draft. Take one, hopefully in the 1st or 2nd round, and then take another one, 5th, 6th, 7th round. So aside from the players, there's also talk going on. And coming into the combine, a big story among Vikings was KOC and Rob are not going to be speaking at the combine on the national podium, which is different. Every other year, KOC has been up there and taking questions from the national media. This year, not doing it. What do you guys think about KOC and Rob kind of dodging the national media?
I mean,
Big deal, no big deal.
as long as their word gets put out there. I mean, they did speak not just to them, but to like a conference kind of setting. But they did speak to media, so it's and we're going to go over it here a little bit. But as long as their word comes out, I'm not too worried about it. But if they weren't to say anything or keeping everything hush hush, it just tells me that this organization is a disaster beyond repair. But because they did say something about these things about the quarterback position, I'm not too worried right now.
The thing about how they're speaking is it's with local media, so they're controlling the questions, like what's going to be asked, what can't be asked. So that's kind of why it's like, what are they afraid of? Is that a big deal or not, Fish? Like, is it fine, smart? Like, they don't have to do that?
All right, I'm going to do some projection here. So you got rid of Kwesi, and now you've put the spotlight on you. You're the ones making the decisions. And playing it low key is kind of a self-preservation way. They're not the guy. Kwesi was the guy. And really, this is kind of a defensive mechanism. If shit goes sideways and goes wrong, then they're trying to keep everything low. And that's about all I could think about that is why would you avoid after all this has happened? It's just sort of like, I got to cover my ass here, and I don't want to be the one out here making statements that could come back and get me at the end of the season.
And Colin says they're not talking because there's not an actual GM, so it makes sense. But KOC's never been the GM. He's talked every year. And the position that the Wolves have kind of put this team in, KOC is the shot caller. Like, yeah,
right. And that's what I'm saying. This is him. Oh, wait a minute. There's a spotlight now where he shared it before. And you know, if you believe in the scapegoat theory, scapegoat's gone. So now the spotlight is Rob Brzezinski's position with this team is protected. Well, he can always go back to being what he was. KOC's got none of that. So now it's just like, maybe I'm just going to kind of chill. And then if things go well, I'll be like, hey, that was me. But if not, it's going to.
Maybe because he's the shot caller now, this is how he wants to run it. Like maybe in the past, he wasn't that much of a shot caller, which everyone is saying. Maybe and then he was out there having to say all these things. And maybe he's really focused on this draft. And this is how he wants to run the draft and how he wants to run the offseason.
Have you not seen his locker room speeches after a win? You think that man don't want to talk?
Yeah.
Giving everybody a game ball. I feel like it's
that's a great question. Game ball.
I feel like it's pretty much KOC, like Fish was saying, KOC is trying to avoid having to deal with constant questions that the media is going to be asking. And it's like, you know, they probably going to be talking about Kwesi, and they're going to be talking about what it's like to, you know, enter this all season with a new GM or a new person in the GM role. And he's trying to avoid all those questions. I mean, as long as he's focusing on what the Vikings need, I don't really care if he talks to the media or not. It may seem soft or weak to other national outlets, but at the end of the day, the only thing they got to really focus on and worry about is what's going on in the Minnesota Vikings locker room and what's going to take to win the Super Bowl. I don't care if you talk to the media at all. So,
that's very. I mean, I have questions about them, but it's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. They go out there and win football games. It really doesn't matter. This will just be something to kind of pick at, though, if they don't win football games. But as Cody did say, while they didn't speak with the national media, they did talk to local media. KOC and Rob Brzezinski did. And there were some interesting things that came out of there. I think one of the biggest things that you've probably all seen quoted all around was KOC asked about how he feels about JJ McCarthy. And the answer was pretty much a lot of those feelings are still the same. It's just a different timeline in a different place for all of us, you know, different than what it was. I think that's a pretty loaded statement, don't you, Cody?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he said when we drafted McCarthy, it was hey, we're fired up to have you here. And of course, that was with every single draft pick we've drafted since 2022. That was KOC's opening line. So, yeah, that's even a loaded question the way this offseason's going. If you think about it, if that's his only opening line that he has for every single draft pick when they're on the phone, we're fired up to have you here. Yeah, it's super loaded in my thinking back here. The timeline is just different place for all of it. It was. I think that is true, though. I do think they do want to bring in a veteran quarterback to start the 1 year, the bridge, depending how that goes, giving McCarthy more time heading into 2027. I don't think that's too much of a loading question. I think a lot of the loaded questions, a lot of the feelings are still the same. No, the feelings weren't the same because it was, we were fired up to have you here. Now it's your timeline is a little bit different. It's basically like a positive, negative kind of loaded ass statement that he's saying right there.
Yeah, I definitely think, the timeline shift, that was the big thing there that kind of says that they are probably going to bring in a quarterback, but I think they're also trying to tell the fan base not to panic because we still do vision him as being our franchise quarterback, whether that's true or not. That's what they're trying to sell. He mentioned that JJ McCarthy's out in California right now working with quarterback coach John Beck, who oddly enough is seen around the league as a quarterback whisperer. All these guys are just quarterback whisperers. So he is out there working right now. JJ McCarthy is, but it is interesting. What do you take from it, Shaq?
Pretty much, I think he's trying to basically keep faith in JJ McCarthy. And right now, it goes back to his original quote about the cement. And I think he's trying to figure out if he put his foot in that cement, would it leave a footprint or is it dry enough that he could walk over it? So pretty much he knows his job is on the line. And I'm pretty sure deep down inside, KOC wants to see JJ McCarthy succeed. And he's going to try everything possible to make sure JJ McCarthy succeeds as a quarterback. But he also knows he can't bank on that possibility that JJ McCarthy will be that quarterback. So he's trying to keep faith in JJ McCarthy while also having a backup plan.
That's how it sounds, because it kind of sounds like he's trying to play on both sides of the fence. Rob Brzezinski was also asked about JJ McCarthy and what's the quarterback situation going to be like this year. And he said that he's not ruling out anything and they're exploring all possibilities. And they do know they need a certain baseline at quarterback for them to be effective. And they said that JJ's been under a lot of unfortunate scenarios this past season, and he's dealt with it in a great way. But they're going to explore every opportunity. And he says right now there's not something they're specifically looking for. They're basically just looking at all the options and trying to do what's best for the Minnesota Vikings. Do you think that Rob is really leaving it open for JJ McCarthy to be that answer?
Well, I think that he said the right thing, to be honest with you, because there should, at any point in time, all possibilities should be on the table and give us the best possibility to win. Getting back to KOC, man, there's some politicians that could go back and watch that man talk and learn a thing or two. Because if KOC ever decides he wants to run for political office, he's going to be fantastic. That guy just knows how to walk that wire. But yes, okay, so JJ McCarthy is no longer working with his 9th grade quarterback coach, thank God. He's working with an actual professional that can maybe get something out of him. And Rob is saying, we're going to evaluate everything and we're going to do the best thing for this team. Fantastic. Love to hear it. I hope you actually execute on it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds like Rob might be out on JJ more than KOC is at this point. And when I say out, I mean for the 2026 season. I think Rob wants to go out there and explore a new quarterback more than KOC. I think KOC kind of wants to bring in for someone for competition. And it seems like Rob wants to go out there. No, let's go find our quarterback one going into camp. That's how I'm reading between these lines.
I kind of feel like they're waiting on a word and a word from someone. I think they're waiting on what John Beck has to say about McCarthy and his mechanics going in through. Like, where is he at in that progression? Is it going to meet the timeline to start the year? Is his mechanics going to be fixed by then? Maybe if that's true, we probably don't sign a quarterback until halfway through the offseason or right after the draft, or during the draft, we decide to pull the trigger to make a trade for a quarterback because we just got word from the guy that's coaching and teaching up JJ McCarthy, like, yeah, this kid ain't ready. He's not going to be ready by the start of the season.
Which would be smart. I mean, an actual quarterback whisperer, listen to what he has to say and then make a determination. It's still early. You still have the opportunity to listen to somebody who knows what they're doing in developing a young player. And if he says, this ain't happening, go get your guy. Go get a guy. You got 2 capologists working for the team right now until the draft. By God, the numbers should jive. Go get them.
And then another news story, or the biggest news story yesterday, besides what KOC and Rob Brzezinski had to say that surrounded the Vikings, was about another quarterback that the Vikings might have interested in. And that's the young quarterback
Andrew Luck.
in Indianapolis. No, not
Andrew
that
Luck.
one. He is no longer young. He's old and skinny. It is Anthony Richardson. It was announced yesterday that the Colts have granted Richardson permission to seek a trade. And the NFL Network's Cameron Wolf tweeted out that one team to eye in trading for Anthony Richardson, the Minnesota Vikings. There is mutual interest, and the combine is the ideal time for these conversations to happen. So, first things first, who here has an interest in bringing in Anthony Richardson?
Why would you
He
bring
is the exact opposite of what KOC wants out of a quarterback. He is everything KOC does not want.
Why would you bring in a guy with mechanical issues when your starting quarterback has mechanical issues? That's double the work that you got to do. It doesn't make any sense to me, in my opinion. The only way it would make sense is, okay, let's make this a true quarterback battle. 2 guys with mechanical problems going into the offseason. Whoever wins the job, because I think everybody else, that's going to be the starter for the year. With Anthony Richardson, it is going to be an actual quarterback battle. You know, they both have the same shot at making the starter at quarterback. But why would you bring in a guy with mechanical issues if your own starting quarterback has mechanical issues? I'd be not interested.
And piggybacking off of what Cody said, it's pretty much the only way I would take Anthony Richardson as a quarterback is if we didn't have JJ McCarthy and we still had Kirk Cousins starting. So that way we could develop Anthony Richardson on the bench and then finally put him in once Kirk Cousins starts to suck. So probably like week 3.
You sure he can develop enough by week 3, Shaq?
I mean, at that point, we have no choice. But pretty much what Cody said, we can't have 2 developmental quarterbacks. We having a hard time developing one.
I agree with Jay that it's just a rumor and the Vikings do not want him. I don't believe the NFL Network coming out and saying that there's mutual interest is there at all. I think that's just trying to make a story out of nothing because, you know, after we beat the Colts, was that 2 weeks ago, you have KOC talking to Anthony Richardson at midfield, and pretty much anybody that KOC talks to, I guess he wants that quarterback at some point. So that's kind of where that has come from. But there was also a story last year from Brett Coleman who came out and said that I don't think people realize how hard the Vikings tried to trade up for Anthony Richardson last year. Like, they put everything on the table. They made a massive offer. They were going to give away the farm, all of it. They were going to give everything. So if you believe that, then maybe you see that there was mutual interest. But I don't think that after watching Anthony Richardson through 2 years in the NFL made the Vikings be like, yeah, that could be our guy. Because like Cody said, you're having a competition between 2 guys that aren't ready.
I'm going to tell you right now, give me the leaked phone call or the transcripts from the phone call, and then maybe I'll believe it. And until then, I don't believe shit. Oh, yeah, we were going to put everything on the table. We probably called and said, hey, what would it take to get up? We'll get back to you. Yeah, we made a real hard effort.
What happened, Fish, was they didn't know the Vikings swipe right on every quarterback.
And every quarterback swipes right on the Vikings because we're the ideal location.
Skol, Bob. And T-Mac, McCarthy maniacs are scared to death of any quarterback that comes to the Vikings. And that's not true, man. I'm a big McCarthy believer and fan, and I am in on bringing in a quarterback to challenge AJ McCarthy. I want him to be challenged, and I want him to be able to beat that person out. And if he can't, then I want us to have a good quarterback for the season. I'm not scared to death of them bringing in anybody. I'm scared to death of them making a mistake in the way they bring in somebody. Like, everybody's infatuated with Mac Jones. Let's go trade a second rounder for him. No, that would be the wrong thing to do. And go bring in Anthony Richardson. What has he done to prove that he is any better at this level than JJ McCarthy is? Like, there's a right way to do it, and I'm not scared of bringing in competition at all.
Well, what's to say, because Anthony Richard did request for a trade, Colts gave him that request. That's telling me the Colts they're moving on for Anthony Richard. He's gone. He's not going to be on the team. Daniel Jones is probably going to get an extension of some sort. What is it to say that the Minnesota Vikings bring in Anthony Richardson regardless and another quarterback into this system, into that room?
Cap constraints.
I mean, he wouldn't be worth nothing if he's getting cut right off the rib. Ain't nobody going to want to pay a lot of money to develop a quarterback.
Right, because, I mean, they're going to have Daniel Jones as a quarterback, but he's probably not going to be ready week one. I mean, maybe they try to force him out there, but even Kirk Cousins struggled to be ready week one from the same injury, and his happened a lot earlier in the season. So I doubt he's ready. So why would they be like, oh, yeah, go ahead. When they're actually going to need a quarterback for the first part of the season, or if what they've seen at practice shows like this guy has potential to be an NFL quarterback, we need to keep developing him behind the scenes. Like,
because they got Riley Leonard, who was a rookie last year on that team, and they have to pick up Anthony Richardson's 50th option.
If Riley Leonard is the reason they're getting rid of Anthony Richardson, I want Anthony Richardson even less.
They have to pick up Anthony Richardson's 5th-year option, which is going to cost way more money than what it would be for just getting a veteran quarterback on that team.
Colin, and I agree that Richardson is better than Brosmer. So if you're bringing in Richardson to be a project, practice squad, call up on game day quarterback, I can get behind that. But to say like, we're going to go into the season with JJ McCarthy and Anthony Richardson and the better man's our QB1, I'm not feeling great about that.
I don't think it'll be like that. I think it's going to be McCarthy, a veteran, and Richardson.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Okay with that.
I'm open to that. I'm not open to it being JJ McCarthy, Richardson, and Brosmer.
Yeah, that's not happening. Brosmer's gone.
He didn't get enough reps. I need to see more from Brosman Price.
And Jay says it's going to be Carr or Murray. And Jay, I really don't want Kyler Murray. Like, I know he's fun, but I don't see him ever winning anything in the NFL. And I just don't see him a fit for what KOC wants to do. Carr, I wanted Carr out of the draft. I wanted Carr when he was a Raider. But now, after seeing him on the Saints, being out a year of retirement, I think I got out of that Carr thing. I don't think I want to take that ride at this point. Like, I think I'd rather roll with JJ McCarthy and not have a decent backup than go with Carr. But we are going to bring somebody in. We are. It's just at what level?
I don't want anybody we have to give up a draft pick for, unless it's a 6th or 7th rounder. I don't want anybody that'll jeopardize our top 100. We have got to hit on 3 or 4 starters out of this draft to get going on this team, or else we're just going to be spinning our wheels.
Preferably on defense.
So T-Bat says, I want Aaron Rodgers because he's probably the only guy in the league that would change a play in the huddle when O'Connell calls a dumbass play. And people like to say that, but I didn't watch a lot of Steelers games, but I did watch that Steelers-Ravens game, and I saw Aaron Rodgers calling timeout a lot because he didn't like a play or something like that. He wasn't up there just audibling out of plays. Like, he was doing what he was told to do by a defensive head coach. So I don't think he's just going to go out there and go all rogue, like what some people think he will do. Now, he might have more input when he comes to the sideline and they talk about things or how they're going to run the offense, but I don't think he's just going to go out there and he's going to be the OC on the field.
Having the ability and the willpower to actually make that timeout call and saying, I don't think you're calling the right play is enough for me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming here.
I can't rule out Aaron Rodgers. I can't rule out that it's going to happen, but I'm just saying, don't expect it for him to be the rogue OC on the field if he does come here. I will feel better about our playoff chances if he does come here. I do think there's still an interest. I don't know how much interested he is in going back to Pittsburgh with Mike McCarthy and the Steelers over coming here with obviously better offensive weapons. And, this maybe being his last chance at trying to win something. He might feel he has a better chance here. So I'm not going to rule it out. But Fish, you had said that you don't want anybody to come here that's going to cost us a draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and then I'm just saying, having that ability is something that you can't, nobody else really has. Kirk Cousins ain't gonna do that.
You done taking my thunder?
Yeah.
The Falcons have announced that Kirk Cousins will be released at the start of free agency and will be available. Atlanta owes Kirk Cousins $10 million. So if Kirk really wanted to, he could sign a minimum deal and get paid $10 million for the Falcons to play here. Is there any chance he does that?
Hell no. Kirk Cousins ain't going to sign no minimum deal for nobody, and it don't matter what the Falcons are paying him. He's got an image to uphold, and that image will not be no minimum deal. He ain't going to do it because it's not the money, it's what it represents. He ain't going to do nothing team-friendly. He's going to do Kirk-friendly.
And might represent his last chance at winning a Super Bowl.
He don't care about that, Keith. It's really secondary.
Colin, I get you. No way Kirk will sign a minimum contract ever. And I get that in the general sense of that. Of course not. But again, he's getting paid $10 million regardless. So you don't think he would come here for $10 million to play with JJ one more time and Addison and KOC and have, one more shot at it before he goes into the booth?
I'm telling you that if Kirk is
otherwise, Kirk will get paid, but then you're going to go play for the Arizona Cardinals. You're going to go play for the New York Jets. Like, you're not going to. I'm just
saying that if he's getting paid $10 million from the Falcons this year, he's going to want $25 million, or he's going to go to the broadcast booth, or he's going to go.
You realize he doesn't get that on top, right? Like, that just means the Falcons are off the hook of paying them $10 million.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's not going to do $10 million. He's going to take more money. It's him. It's his image. It's what he wants. He's not ever going to do that.
I think I'd be out on Kirk Cousins then over $10 million.
I don't know.
Me too.
I wouldn't be, because you brought Sam Darnold here for $10 million. It's kind of like the same situation. But you got a bridge quarterback at $10 million. I'd take Kirk Cousins for $10 million all day long.
Exactly. And he gets $10 million if we give him the minimum deal. He still gets $10 million.
Yeah.
And with the Caps, situation we're in, yes, this will take some understanding from Kirk. Like, we are in a trouble spot. And does it help that the Vikings say, hey, you're going to come in as quarterback one? Like, you're not competing. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put you in quarterback one. Or go battle to be the quarterback one for the Arizona Cardinals or the New York Jets and get paid your $20 million.
He's going to take that 20.
Davey, I feel insane talking about it. You're right. But when you think about the options that are out there, and it does appear this team is going to go with the option that's out there, Kirk Cousins is probably one of the top choices that's actually within reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he's starting when he gets here.
Right. Right. The other guys, like I've mentioned that I would like to see them bring in, if it's not going to be someone like that we're bringing for quarterback one, is Russell Wilson, because I think he comes in here and he challenges JJ McCarthy and gives a high benchmark to what JJ McCarthy has to surpass in order to start. And if JJ McCarthy does get hurt, I would feel okay with Russell Wilson coming in for a couple games.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson starts also.
I think it's a competition. Does he beat him out? Maybe, but I do think it's a level playing field. I don't think anyone comes in. I think they go into camp like this, and I know you don't like it, but they split the snaps. I think they both play in preseason, and I think we find out who the starter is 6-7 days before the first game.
I honestly think they're not bringing any kind of competition for McCarthy. It's either McCarthy's the starter or you're bringing in the starter. That's how I feel that with all those words that they're saying, looking at every possibility. I don't think there's a competition as a possibility.
So Jay's down to bring in Kirk Cousins just to get KOC fired. Sorry, man. I don't see KOC getting fired. I don't. Joe Milton is kind of a wild card for me. Where's Robbie at? Robbie would love to hear that. You know what? I actually feel more confident in Joe Milton than Anthony Richardson at this point. Shaq's not taking that ride.
Hell no. He's a slow Anthony Richardson.
I think he's a more accurate Anthony Richardson.
You need a guy that threw the ball like 77 yards or something. Okay.
He just throws it deep.
Keith, are you nuts? Wilson can't move. Neither can Kirk or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
These are the options.
Yeah. Everybody hates these options.
There's really not good options out there. Like when you're talking about the best options, might be like Mitch Trubisky or Marcus Mariota. Like it's not a good market out there. And Mitch Trubisky is probably going to go ahead and stay cozy behind Josh Allen. Like it's not a good free agency. Period. It's definitely not a good free agency for quarterbacks.
I'm now in on Milton because he's a new Jeff George.
Just sling it. If you're in on Milton, you're in on Winston. Just sling that thing.
Oh, well, I've made it very clear that I'm in on Winston for a couple of years now, Cody.
Hey, Colin, I actually picked Gainwell as the free agent running back that I bring in, and I did that because I think he would bring a dynamic to this offense that we're lacking, a guy that can catch out of the backfield, but also he's cheap, and he's not someone that you're looking at long-term, so it doesn't prevent us from taking one of these running backs in the draft. I think Gainwell, Mason, and a rookie running back would be a nice backfield. I agree with you.
Ooh, something happened on a running back today that I really love. Spoke to us. He's one of the 5 or 6 now participants of the combine to speak to the Minnesota Vikings. Emmett Johnson from Nebraska.
Oh yeah, he did. He mentioned that, and like it seems like that's where he wants to go because he is from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Probably grew up a Vikings fan. Fish probably was upset in 2017.
Oh man, I just love that whole story. Bring him here just because he's a hometown kid.
Where's Boyd at? I'm pretty sure Boyd would love this.
Nah, he's probably the closest thing I've got to a draft crush this year, just off of the little bit I've seen of him.
Mike Washington is nice too. He's probably going to be a 3rd or 4th rounder. We don't have a 4th rounder, so we might have to take him with that comp pick, but that's definitely somebody I'd watch out for. I mean, I want to go defense the first 2 picks, and after that, I'm down for a running back, unless for some reason Love falls to us at 18. Cody and Shaq got me on that, man. Like, I didn't want Love. I want safety or cornerback, but if Love falls to 18, I think you've got to do it. And I didn't think that'd be possible, but Cody's been laying it out, and it's possible. It's possible.
Throwing it out there. There's only a few teams in the top 10 that are looking for a running back. I think it's 2. And then you move on up. I think there's another guys in front of us. I think it's either Saints or Chiefs that might be looking for a running back. If you get past them, that they're at like number 11 or 12, you get past them. He's a great possibility he could jump down to 18.
Chiefs are definitely looking at Love. I think the Chiefs are also looking at Breece Hall.
Yeah, it's like they want to flip that 2 first-round picks for him.
They might. I don't even remember the Chiefs like ever drafting. Like they always draft at the back of rounds, anyways. And like, who did they get? I mean, Xavier Worthy, okay, but like, they're not like, I don't know. They can find guys. They can find guys in the later rounds, kind of like the Patriots used to do. And you got Patrick Mahomes, so you'll be okay. You know, I think the league would be pretty worried if the Chiefs ended up with a running back like Breece Hall. I think they'd be worried with Love too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's definitely one of the teams that Cody mentioned being in front of us that we'd have to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
They get Breece Hall, then they trade back with us to get Kenyon Sadiq to replace Kelsey.
Kelsey coming back?
Most likely,
we don't know
coming
yet.
back. Yeah. Like what else is he gonna do if he doesn't come back? Like be with Taylor 24 hours a day? Like
reality TV show.
Option.
Reality TV show, the Kelseys.
Yeah, reality TV show. He'll be her roadie. Like I don't think he's ready for that lifestyle yet.
The Kelseys and Swift.
They're gonna be called the Swifties. They're changing their show and everything.
The Swifties.
She's like, I bought your guys' show. This is now called the Swifties.
Yep. You will take my last name.
Oh my gosh. What's up, Travis? Something else that I saw that I found very interesting was The Athletic reported that Jalen Naylor is projected to sign something like a 3-year, $36 million deal. So $12 million average annual value. If that's the cost, Cody, you in?
Doors that way, brother. See ya. I'm sorry. No, I'm not in on that. That's for me is ridiculous amounts of money. No way. If I saw him get above the 700-yard threshold as a wide receiver 3, then I'd think about it. But paying him and then Addison the next year on top of that, it doesn't make any sense, especially with the cap room that we have now.
Fish, you're shaking your head no.
Love you, Naylor. Really have loved how you've kind of come on last 2 years. Don't love you that much. Not even close.
Shaq, tell us why you're bringing Naylor back at $12 million a year.
Who? Who want to bring it back at 12 million?
New number. Who's this?
I gotta. We just talked to another USC receiver to replace Naylor, and it's not Mekhi Lemon, but it's Jacoby Lane. So,
what round we gonna get him in, Shaq?
3. Your favorite round?
Nah, we ain't got room in the third for him. No.
We got a third rounder at home, guys.
Yeah, we got that.
Hey, I do want to say that about Ty Felton. Like, I follow him on social media. I'm watching the stories. That guy is training hard right now. He really is. I mean, I get it on social media. You can post whatever you want, make things look however you want, but it's good to see he's out there putting in the work. So maybe Ty Felton does come through and surprise us. I'm going to have faith in that. I'm going to have faith that Ty Felton comes out and surprises us.
I think I'm going to use my superpower on him, Keith.
Yes, and you can't just do it once. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be not every week, but damn near every week.
I've got about 4 players. I'm gonna test my limits. I've got about 4 players that I think are going to be a big bag of shit for us this year, and I'm going to make it known.
That could be a future segment. Fish poop. We are drafting a wide receiver. Write it down. Yeah, I think we will, but the problem is we have so many other needs that I don't think it happens until day 3. And then at that point, you're kind of just, maybe this guy works. Hey, Colin, when I first saw Ty Felton, I was watching his video. I saw Diggs, so guilty. People are saying that they'd rather trade Addison and keep Naylor. What do you guys think about that?
No, you still have 2 years of Addison, even if that 5th year option. and he'd still be making less than what he would do it on the open market. I would definitely keep Addison going forward, even though he's not a 1,000-yard receiver. To me, he didn't live up to first round hype. I'd still keep Addison.
Felton.
I would do it.
Keith.
I would do it. I think we could find us a relatively inexpensive free agent veteran wide receiver that could run good routes and do what needs to be done. But I still don't want to pay Naylor $12 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Single digits. $9 million a year.
That would be crazy. That'd be crazy if he does end up getting a contract like that. But it's kind of what we predicted before the season started, that either he was going to be so bad that we won't want him back, or he's going to play good enough that a team's going to pay him to be their wide receiver too. And he played good enough for some team to think he could be their wide receiver too. In our system, with a little more snaps, this guy, that's where he's at right now.
You want to give him a $9 million contract a year with incentives to get him up for 12 for performance? Okay.
And you have to think about it. If you get anything less than an early second-round pick, that's a miss in that draft in 2022. You missed on that, that means.
Well, the guy that made that pick is long gone. Well, he's gone.
Not long gone.
But, yeah.
I got a receiver that's cheaper than $9 million for you, Fish.
Lay it on me, Shaq.
Like $3 million.
Who's that?
Played for the Vikings. He played for the Vikings before. And
you talking about Laquan Treadwell?
Laquan Treadwell, who's still in the league.
Man, you put some respect on that man's name.
I want to say I didn't say it at the time, but I do want to say I am disappointed, mostly in you, Fish, that when I put up that list and no one called out Laquan Treadwell's name when we were doing wide receivers, and no one picked him as their guy for that segment. But at least when the list was up to call him out, no one even called him out. Like, hey, Laquan Treadwell, there's a name. None of that.
He played with my emotions, Keith. Okay. That last year he was with us, he made that one clutch third down conversion from Cousins and made me think, you son of a bitch, what are you doing at the last minute when we're about to get rid of you? He played with my emotions. I don't like people who play with my emotions.
He is a 10-year veteran and fully vested in the NFL.
And good for him, man.
No,
seriously, I'm proud of him because he is ass. He managed to do that.
You know what? I think he had a touchdown this year too, from Phillip Rivers. It was, I think he scored a touchdown this year.
My God, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
And a lot of people are hating on Ty Felton, man. You're gonna make me do the opposite of the Fish thing, and I'm just gonna have to be all in on Ty Felton this whole offseason. I'm gonna have to ride that. I might have to go get the damn jersey. What number is he? 13. Might have to do it. Like trade Addison for Olave. I don't see how that makes sense, Colin. Like, I see why maybe you'd want to do that, but I don't see why either team's like, oh yeah, let's take your guy that's got to be paid for our guy that's got to be paid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my guy.
Didn't Olave already get paid? Didn't Olave already get paid?
About to do that.
No, they're not going to trade. Let me trade my guy for your guy. Your guy has 2 1,000-yard years, and my guy doesn't have a single one. That ain't happening.
Cody isn't.
I'm an Addison fan, but Olave is better than Addison. I don't think the Saints doing that.
Yeah.
And Colin, that is my biggest gripe. Scatterbo was there when Ty Felton was there. And it's not like it was like, well, we don't need a running back or we don't need a guy that could score from the goal line. It wasn't like that. Like Scatterbo would have been a great fit here.
Did we sign Jordan Mason before or after the draft?
Before.
Before because once they signed him, we start like talking about the first, couple round running backs. But end of third round, Scatterbo. Like
after we got Jordan Mason, we wasn't gonna get the power back.
Well, you got to know that you're probably gonna lose CJ Ham after the season. So
the immortal CJ Ham.
Keith, get a legendary jersey instead. Yeah, I need to get that Case Keenum. You right. Oh, Colin, definitely. That Scatabo is the one reason why I was upset about Ty Felton, even though when he got drafted, and watching him, I was like, okay, I kind of did see the Diggs thing, and maybe I got blinded because they played for the same college, but I did see the same kind of style of play, but it was kind of like, well, Scatabo was there. Like, Scatabo was, dominant in college, was talked about a lot as being a first-round running back, and he was there at the end of the third round, and we could have had him, and I think that was a big miss, but I am going to stay on the Ty Felton's going to do something train.
Suck.
You know what's funny about this is we're talking about these players at these positions where they had extravagant college careers, all right, or they were labeled as top 3 in their position, and we missed on those kind of players since 2023 or 2022. Like we're talking Kyle Hamilton, we missed on that. Yeah, he's probably the number 1 safety in the draft, i.e., probably the number 1 player in that draft. Right, he was labeled I think he was labeled a PFF number 1 in a lot of mocks, like not mocks.
Best defender in the draft, Cody.
Best defender in the draft, and we just said no, and we said no on Cam Scatabo. And people think, well, Kwesi got backdoored on this. No, Kwesi got fired because of the draft, right? And then he got fired, and on top of the cherry is the Sam Darnold situation.
Hey, Fish, here's a name for you.
Who?
That's the new CJ Ham. He's telling you.
Riley.
Riley Nowoseki from Indiana. He's got that championship pedigree. Colin, I don't know him, but we'll check him out. And I don't know if I updated this.
You did.
I did. All right. Good job, Keith.
Look at that first name, y'all. Look at that first name.
So we're going to go ahead and get to this free agency preview. Last week we talked about wide receivers and tight ends, and now we're going to move to the defensive side of the ball. And we got defensive linemen and linebackers. Like I said, we're not going to make any big splashes in free agency, in my opinion, but we will sign some guys. Calais Campbell Fish is talking about. There's some names on here that could definitely make a difference for us. I don't think there's any fishing back. What about Calais Campbell? There's not really any great pass rushers on here, but I don't know that that's what we need, right, guys?
Nah, we got a bunch of those. You got a bunch of pass rushing defensive linemen.
I think we got one pass rushing defensive lineman, Shaq. One.
Well, let's see about Ingram Dawkins. Let's see about Levi with some more snaps.
One trick pony and a member of my 4.
Fish, another one. Another one I'm disappointed in you.
Look, King Tonga was all right. He was all right. He was like less of a blemish on a whole bunch of ass. He was okay. I mean, he looked good because he wasn't as straight booty cheeks as everybody else around him. Kind of like Brian O'Neill.
Oh, come on, man.
Put some respect on Patrick Jones II.
So we did take a look at this list, and we, picked out a couple that we thought, could be good signings for the Vikings, starting with Calais Campbell.
The ageless wonder. How old is he, Keith?
He'll be 40 this season.
40 this season. And what did he do last year?
6.5 sacks. Same as Jalen Redmond.
The guy just won't die. He's still playing as a dominant defensive tackle, and he's your age, Keith. He's almost, the guy should be 8 years retired, and he's a monster. And he could probably do some things for that waste of a draft pick hyphenated name guy we got last year, and maybe make him be able to play the position. And shoot, he could actually say, look, Alan, let me show you something. Let me show you how to actually play defensive tackle because you really lucked out joining these suckers in purple, but I'm going to make you a player. This guy is still a straight monster and can take over a game, and him and Redmond on the same defensive line would be straight chaos against offenses. We would be dominant in our front seven with this guy.
I agree. And Fish, you've kind of been on this train. This might be year 3. It's at least year 2 for sure that you've been pounding the table for Calais Campbell. And I was in on it for this year, for 2025. And he performed. If you look at the stats, 43 tackles, which, that's a good amount for the amount of snaps he played, 544, 43 tackles. That's good. 9 tackles for loss. His stats are very similar to Jalen Redmond, and we are all in love with Jalen Redmond. And to be fair, we've been in love with Jalen Redmond since the day the Vikings signed him, but he kind of just proved our love this season. So, yeah, $5-6 million. You want to come and, play with Brian Flores? You don't got to play every down and be part of this rotation because we are going to have a rotation. He's a guy that's not going to take a lot of snaps away from our young guys. Like, I think Ingram Dawkins can get some more snaps. Levi can get some more snaps. But we have a guy, you put him and Redmond in there, 2 guys that can pass rush the quarterback. That's kind of what we were hoping to have with Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, and we didn't get it. So I'm okay with this. 40's young. Fish, no more old players. We tried that last year. Look, this guy's different. I saw a headline that said that retirement is afraid of Calais Campbell.
Vikings, it ain't the old players that are the problem from what we signed last year. It's the old players coming off of injuries that were the problem. This man played in 18 games. He didn't get hurt. And he's just a straight-up beast.
Look at the respect they put on him. PFF's top 250. They got him at 29 out of all
40.
Yeah, I'll take a $5
million. All he's got to do is give us 75% of that. He can have a little drop-off. And we would still be damn happy with him.
Got to be a good locker room leader, too, so I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
So next we have my guy who is 8 years younger than Fish's guy. Again on that cusp of retirement. DJ Reader. So he was good or great, I'll say, when he was with the Bengals. I kind of wanted him last time he was a free agent, but he did end up signing with the Lions. He didn't really have an impact with the Lions due to, I want to say, injury. And not only that, I think the Lions had drafted the defensive tackle. So he kind of was getting lost in the rotational with playing for the Lions. But the reason I do want DJ Reader is because he's always been a great nose tackle. Like, he clog up the lanes. He'll stop running backs. You don't have to worry about a guard or center blowing him off the line. He'll make sure he can clog up that hole and force a running back to run towards the outside or make a running back have to, cut and then probably get tackled by one of our linebackers. Or he even help our linebackers get into the backfield better. So with DJ Reader, we could pretty much settle our defensive line by having Jalen Redmond, DJ Reader, and a rotation of Dallas Turner and Andrew Van Ginkel all crashing the offensive line to get to the quarterback or even the running back. So that's why I want DJ Reader. And plus, he's not going to cost as much.
Nah,
he could be washed up, but he's only $4 million. Like, we signed a bunch of washed players last year for way more money.
6'3", 330. Getting the Fat Pat vibes here. PFF's 20th ranked free agent. I mean, that's where we struggled. We struggled. That front line, did okay against the pass, getting some rush in there thanks to Jalen Redmond. But against the run, it was non-existent. So yeah, give me a space eater, a guy clogging up the lanes, a guy that can just grab a running back with one arm and throw him down. Interested.
Yeah, I like Sebastian Joseph Day. I think he's going to be a nice little complimentary piece to this defensive line. I just don't see us paying any type of money towards the defensive tackle position through free agency just because of what we have to pay Redmond here probably coming up and what we're already paying Jonathan Allen. I don't think you're going to allocate that much money to 3 players, even if it's at the $5 to $8 million range. But with Sebastian Joseph Day, he's 31 years old, 314 tackles, 15 and a half sacks, coming off a pretty porous Tennessee Titans defense, right? So you're kind of looking at a guy, okay, who could be a solid veteran in there to Redmond. But then again, are you going to allocate that money to that defensive position on this team? And I just don't see it happen. But a guy that would fit would be Sebastian Joseph Day, predominantly coming from a 3-4 defense.
So, Cody, you got us going into this season with Jalen Redmond, Jonathan Allen, Tyrone Ingram-Dawkins, and Levi Drake, and that's it?
And a draft pick.
That's see how that turns out, but
he's got to allocate. We got to shave $70 million just to get into free agency. So,
well, you did pick one of the more expensive ones.
Yeah, he did. He picked the most expensive.
I'm not.
There are cheaper options.
I'm not pounding the table for the guy. I'm just saying how it fits. The only thing it doesn't fit is money wise. So
that's fair.
We got 2 capologists.
We got 2 capologists. It'll all work out.
Talk his price down, $5 million.
Let me tell you about these investments. I went with a guy that's a little bit cheaper, and that's David Onyemata. He's also an older guy, which I know we went with older guys last year, and it's not leaving a good taste in our mouth, but this is where we're going to be at. We don't have a lot of money. We are going to have to find budget players that can come in and make an impact. We're not going to get too many guys that are coming off their rookie deals and now looking to come be a starter somewhere else. We're just not in that position. But much like Cody's guy, much like Shaq's guy, Onyemata, he's a run stuffer, and he's very reliable. He plays over 500 snaps every season. He's been a good starting and rotational player in the NFL, and that's going to go good with our young guys because I do want to see more from our young guys. I'm not looking in to bring in somebody that's going to keep them from progressing, but I want somebody that can rotate with them. He's consistently one of the top 10 run defenders, according to PFF. If you're into that kind of thing, he can play the 0 to the 3 tech. He clogs the lanes, and he also disrupts the pocket on passes. 2 things the Vikings have been lacking. So I think he would be a good addition to us for 1 year. And to Cody's point, yeah, maybe we're going to draft one. This doesn't prevent us from doing that. It's not like, oh, well, we got him. We can't go draft one. We can. All of our options are still open. It'd be relatively cheap, but he can also make an impact on the 2026 season as an impact defensive tackle. Got to shave. I get it. Got to shave the cap down. Tommy, I know they announced today that the cap went up $22 million, but that's a number that we've known for a month or 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
We
42
still broke.
just to get compliant, add another 10 to 14 for draft picks, and then add that number to the 15 to 20 you need for free agency. That's the average what NFL teams spend.
Caleb Banks, baby, go get him.
He might go top 15 now.
I think he probably does. Jay says no older players. They have proven wrong for the Vikings. I get it, man, but we are going to have to sign some players to fill out this roster, and they're not going to be, too many young studs that are going to be available to us at our price.
How old is Eric Wilson?
I'll take him back in a heartbeat.
100%.
Jackie, about your age.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could still play.
So I didn't make the whole list of linebackers, but we did also look at linebackers, and I think again Cody went the most expensive one.
Yeah. This would be a guy I would pound the table for, and I do think that they do allocate money for us at the linebacker position because I think they really want Eric Wilson back. right? But I think he's going to get paid just as much as Nakobe Dean is. If you lose on Eric Wilson, you're going to want that position back in Brian Flores' defense, and this is where you're going to allocate your money. In my opinion, you're going to allocate most of your money in this free agency is going to be at safety, corner, or this linebacker position.
Nakobe Dean would be an interesting one, especially if we do end up keeping Grenard, putting him in there with Grenard and Van Ginkel and occasionally Dallas Turner. It would definitely be nice if they can make that money work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Colin, we could have drafted him too. Absolutely. I mean, anybody that comes off of that Eagles defense that got drafted in the last 5 years, we should probably be interested in.
Yeah, because most of the Eagles draft picks all came from that Georgia defense that was just dominant,
except for one player. Except for one
player. I wonder who that.
We got him,
and we got him.
So pretty much, Nakobe Dean under B-Flow defense would be amazing because you don't know who's coming and who's dropping back into coverage, which would make blitzes even better. Because what's better than just blitzes? Just the anticipation of them thinking we're about to blitz and we could just drop 7 back into coverage. Because quarterbacks nowadays, they don't really do that much pre-read snaps. They mostly do post-read. And by the time the post after they hike the ball, so much could change. So we don't have to worry about elite players, elite quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning who knew how to read the defense beforehand.
Yeah, no, this would definitely be a big splash signing, and it would be something to, say it's not just for the season. This guy isn't, which the Vikings can do. They can go out there and get a couple of these younger guys and give them nice contracts, but they got to sign them to like 4-year deals so they can put that money like 2 years down the line. And we'll worry about that later.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible they do make a signing like this. It's, people looking at our cap situation, like how it's possible, but they're going to have to sign them to long-term deals and put that money down the line.
This guy was the one that I really picked because you want to talk about coming off a good defense and a defense that is similar to ours. He plays the same type of position in the same type of way that Eric Wilson did. He does. He's a good run stopper. He's a great pass rusher. He's good in coverage. And at $4 to $6 million a year, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, didn't know much about him, but since you picked him, I had to go do a little bit of research. And what I picked up from him, he's a run stopper, a pass rusher, and he's good in coverage. So kind of, like the Blake Cashman mold. It's a good guy to put back there with him, kind of doing everything like Eric Wilson did. If we're not going to sign Eric Wilson, maybe go and get a younger guy that can kind of do those similar things and hope it works out and not breaking the bank. PFF's 90th ranked free agent.
I just don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Sternad. Sternad. It's probably just Strand.
It probably is Strand, like Favre. Is Favre.
Yeah. It's funny. I was gonna say like Favre.
Yeah.
Next, we have my player. I couldn't go with my original player because he was too expensive. I went with my backup linebacker.
Who was that original guy?
Oh, it's Devin Lloyd. Super Bowl, you go big or go home.
Yeah,
Devin Lloyd from the Jaguars. But I'll talk about EJ Speed, who I got accustomed to when we played the Colts. EJ Speed was literally everywhere. He was making a lot of tackles back when he was on the Colts. I think this was I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. And what I like about him, he kind of has speed, like the hints of his name. He does play sideline to sideline, and you don't have to worry about him getting ran over. Like, he's a good, solid linebacker, and he's quite young. I feel like he's just getting onto the cusp of he might even reach the next level and be one of those linebackers who could step in and be like a younger Eric Wilson for us.
A younger Eric Wilson. That would be the ideal situation to get a younger Eric Wilson. Like, I almost wish we had a younger Eric Wilson. Oh, we did. And then And then we brought him back when he got older. He had to go, let him go and be free, and then brought him back when he was older and matured. Jay, I think that they will try to sign Eric Wilson and bring him back. I know you say after hearing Rob B, you think that's what's going to happen. I think that's the smart thing to do. And that doesn't prevent you from going and get one of these guys that are 25 years old, because, if Eric Wilson comes back, who's not coming back. Even if Eric Wilson doesn't come back, Ivan Pace is not going to be here, in my opinion. So you could bring back Eric Wilson, and you could still bring in one of these younger linebackers, and you could still draft a linebacker. I am also going with a 25-year-old. I think we got 3 25-year-olds, or is it 4? I think all of our guys are 25, or maybe I just didn't update it. But Leo Chenal, he's a young guy. He's been on the Chiefs for the past 4 years. Got 2 Super Bowl wins, so he's got that winning pedigree. And he went from a role player to kind of being a fringe starter for them, but he played a lot of downs for them. He's a very physical linebacker, excels in run defense, but he's also good in pass coverage and spying the quarterback, and has a decent pass rushing game. He can kind of do a little bit of everything, and I really compare him to like Blake Cashman, who can do a little bit of everything, but he actually might be a little bit better and might work better in the Brian Flores defense, because he's considered the Swiss Army knife type defender. And he has played, snaps at linebacker. He's played at edge rusher. He's even played at defensive tackle. He says he feels very comfortable as like the box safety or the hybrid pass rusher. He just does a little bit of everything. And he's, again, violent at the point of attack. He goes after the ball. He's a hard hitter. And he's one of those players that is just starting his ascension. So he might be looking to get paid a little bit, but I don't think he's really going to break the bank. He's a guy that you do sign to that 3 or 4 year deal, though. And I think he fits what Brian Flores is going to do. And if Brian Flores is going to be here for a while, I'm all in on bringing Leo Chenal and putting him with Blake Cashman. And I'll still bring back Eric Wilson. That'd be 3 solid linebackers.
The way you could make me interested in him is if you promise me that he will wear the number 5 while he's here. Because Chanel number 5, baby.
Good smell, good smell.
And that is our show.
What conference Chanel come from in college?
Mm-hmm.
The Big Ten, right? So like I'm all for Big Ten linebackers. Just look at what they're pushing out year after year in the draft. And this guy, where was he selected? 2nd or 3rd round? Like you look at Jack Sawyer from Ohio State coming in for the team over there. Then you look at Jack Campbell from Iowa coming over there for the Detroit Lions. They made names for themselves, and he carved out his path to make a name for himself too. And he's very similar to those type of players. Just hard-nosed Big Ten football. I know some colleges and conferences don't translate to the pro level, but Big Ten linebackers definitely translate to the pro level.
Yeah, and he's PFF's 12th graded free agent. So, yeah, he might be that $8 million. This might be a guy you got to give 3 years, $25 million to. But I do think he'll be worth it. I do think he fits in great with Brian Flores in this defense. So. I mean, I think the Chiefs will do what they can to bring him back. And, just doing a little bit of research on him, I'm not the only one asking for him. There's a lot of fan bases out there that want to bring in Leo Chenal. So we'll have to see what happens with that.
What about Devin Lloyd?
How old is Devin Lloyd?
He's only
like 26.
Yeah, he's only in his 5th year of his contract. He was about to be labeled a bust before this year in his final year of his rookie contract that he just went off. So it takes some time to develop linebackers too when you think about that heading into the draft.
Yeah, okay. So he is young, but I saw his projections being close to $20 million average annual value.
He made his money after last year.
I don't think that's a spot we can go to.
Shaq, we got 2 capologists, right?
Yeah, we just gotta talk his cap down. We can't sign Kirk Cousins. We signed Devin Lloyd. We can't sign Kirk Cousins. I know it's unfortunate. I want Kirk Cousins just as much as everybody else, but I prefer Devin Lloyd.
I hear you. I think Nakobe Dean's gone because AJ Brown's gone.
Yeah, I think we have a lot better chance of signing like N'Kobe Dean than Devin Lloyd. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to sign him either, though. So I do think he is on a new team.
Gallagher.
And you fellas got a Gallahorn?
Oh yeah.
Go for it, Fish.
We are going to see some inspired football this year because we had a teammate pass away. They're going to do something. They're going to do something to honor, especially Rondale Moore, because he was still a Viking when he passed away. Much like they did with Kyrie Jackson, there will be something where there will be a patch. They will make something special this in the locker room because that's the kind of team this is. They will rally, and we will, at least for the first few games of the season, see them overachieve and play inspired football.
Buying this. I am buying this, and you're right. That is the kind of team we are. They will do something. They will rally around it. They will have a locker in that locker room. Yeah, I'm buying that. There's no reason to even argue that. And I came in not too positive about the 2026 season. Still not, but lift me up a decimal.
I'm buying it. Yeah.
I'm buying that too because I think I saw a Twitter response or an X response from JJ McCarthy when Greenard kind of went off on his spoke about injuries and what it does to players. McCarthy came out and replied back, preach capped, as in preach captain. So like even McCarthy knows about the injuries, right? With his history of it. You can't just blame a player because of injuries. I think that adds fuel to this Vikings team, and it does make them play influence football, inspired football.
Good one, Fish. Good one. What do you got, Cody?
So what I got is dealing with the quarterback position, and it's dealing with what JJ McCarthy is doing right now during this offseason. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to wait to pick any kind of quarterback to be the starter of this team without the word from the mechanic quarterback whisperer himself, John Beck.
So they're going to do what they did last year and totally miss out on all the free agent quarterbacks and have to trade for Sam Howell in the 5th round.
Nope, because they can re-sign Carson Wentz and they run it back.
So they're going to do exactly what they did last year.
I'm saying, listen, like I said earlier in the show, I think they're going to wait till it's around draft day. That's when you're going to find out how good McCarthy is going to be ready timeline-wise.
They're going to lose out on everybody.
No, they're going to. That's
last year.
That's when they'll make their move to get a quarterback, and it's going to be via
like
trade,
last year,
a 5th rounder.
Yeah,
it's going to be for a starting quarterback instead of a backup, though.
Yeah, because who's going to be available that's a starter?
Kyler Murray
will not be available in April.
He will be available in April.
You can go ahead and make your hot take that because that's fire.
Okay.
I'm not buying it. I mean, I do believe that John Beck's word will have some kind of impact on what the Vikings try to do, but that word is going to have to come before March 11th, even before March 9th. Yeah. He's going to have to say, yeah, that cement, it's looking dry, or that cement might actually be wetter. I'm all in for running back with Wentz. It seems like a lot of the fan base is down for Wentz.
I can't believe I'm saying it.
How did he look when you went to go see him, Keith?
Not great, Shaq. Not great. But in his defense, he only had half his body available to him.
That's the type of player I like. A player willing to die on the field for the team.
He was just ready to. He was like, I'm playing to try to get a contract. I'm playing to try to be Sam Darnold 2.0.
I'm just saying Murray will be traded during the draft because the post-June cut is going to be at $47.5 million instead of the pre-June cut of $54.5 million. So they're going to want some sort of incentive before they actually move on from Kyler Murray.
They can cut him March 13th with a post-June 1 designation.
Yeah, but they don't. That doesn't mean he's cut though until June 1st.
No, he's cut. He's gone. He's free to sign with anybody. It just hits their cap different. But it's a hot take. You can save that one if you want for a hot take.
He's under right still.
If they cut him with a June 1st designation, he is no longer under their rights. All it does is affect how it hits their cap.
Okay. Then why label that?
Huh?
Why label that?
Because it helps teams now. Because
it helps teams.
Now,
their team.
It helps the Cardinals. Because that's not hitting it. Now that his dead money isn't all hitting at once, it'll hit them in the next season. And you're allowed to do that with 2 players every year. And so, like, all the accelerated money doesn't get accelerated. You could still push some of that into the next season. So that's what the designation is for. So I mean, I do think Beck's word is going to have a lot of impact on what the Vikings try to do, but I think they need to know what they're going to do by March 9th.
Which is right around the corner.
Yeah, it is. Coming
really less than 2 weeks away, baby. We're in free agency. New league year starts.
2026 is going fast, but I do have a feeling we're going to hit a lull of this thing going fast. Cardinals will sign Willis. Jay's putting that on note. Kyler to the Jets. Book it. Could Deshaun be a Watson? No. Deshaun Watson is not an option, even if he was available, and he won't be available. That dead cap would be like $70 million.
Yeah, Browns came out saying that they're going to have a competition between Watson and Sanders for this coming season.
Which I'll be shocked if Watson doesn't win that competition. That I don't want to see the Browns do bad, man.
Oh, you don't have to wish for it. It's just going to happen.
I know. I don't wish. I didn't. I don't want to see it. Like, I can get behind the Browns. Like the Vikings are out. Like I can root for them. I guess just that they're kind of a lovable loser. I guess.
I don't know if I want to see the Browns or the Lions win a Super Bowl for Minnesota though. It's just like kicking us when we're down.
Lions used to be lovable losers too, and then they got some success.
Hey, you're lovable till you're not lovable.
Yeah, I'm lovable all the time.
Until you're not.
24/7, 365.
I'll agree with that. So I don't know if I've done this one before, but if I have, I'm going to do it again. And my Gallahorn is simple. It's that KOC is not on the hot seat. There is no hot seat. I don't think there's even any real expectations for this season. I don't think he has to, win a certain amount. I do think there's going to be somewhat of a reset here, just based on where we're at. I know that's not really the Wilf style, but if the Wilfs believe that this was a season we could win, like we're in a position that we can go win and be competitive for the Super Bowl, why'd you just fire the GM if things are all good and we can go out there and compete and be good? I think they understand how messed up the situation is, what kind of trouble we're in. So I think that KOC is kind of going to get a pass on this season. I mean, now he's got to keep the ship together. He's got to keep the team intact and keep the image up. But I do not think that KOC is on the hot seat. Fish, what's the smirk for?
I'm selling the shit.
I just had this image pop in my head that the reason Kwesi was fired was because he accidentally sent a text into the group chat with the Wilfs talking shit about him when he meant to send it to somebody else. And they were like, oh, you're out.
I've done that to a boss before.
Yeah. I've seen it happen once where a fellow store manager said, well, he's not coming here. I guess I'm not fired today. And I was supposed to go to his crew, and it went into our management group chat. The owner of the company went and paid him a visit. Lovely.
So, Cody, you're saying you're selling the hell out of it. You believe KOC is on the hot seat.
Yeah, I think KOC is on the hot seat as long as JJ McCarthy's on the hot seat. That's just, I've been saying that. Coaches do not come back, right, from having to draft another quarterback within the 3 to 4 years as being a head coach from that first round draft pick. Now, if that's what happens, is because JJ McCarthy failed, and that's why he's on the hot seat. Even if you bring in a veteran quarterback for the year, you're still transitioning into that 2027 draft. Coaches are going to want, or owners are going to want a new coach, new GM, and then they select their guy, right? So I feel like he's on the hot seat. Now, there's a caveat to this. If he does go out and get a starting quarterback who signs for multiple years, I think that does lift him off that hot seat.
You make fair and valid points, but again, I think KOC has kind of been absolved of a lot of things by, basically Kwesi taking the fall, and one of those things being JJ McCarthy. I do think he would survive it enough to draft another quarterback. Jay Vikings is mad. Oh my gosh, KOC job is on the hot seat. If no playoffs or a playoff win, he's gone. I'm sorry, man. I don't see it that way. I think that he's done a good job selling the Wilfs on why things are the way they are. And, I think it's understood it's going to be a very tall task to even make the playoffs this year. So I think if they're just a little bit competitive, there's nothing to worry about. I think his seat is not hot. Shaq, you agree with Cody?
Oh, yeah, I agree with Cody. Pretty much, KOC has a lot to prove this year. Like, winning regular season games is cool and all, but it's kind of like, I don't want to be repeating what Joe and them be saying, but he kind of has to take the next step into being the head coach of the NFL team. He already proved he can win regular season games. He needs to win. He not only win a playoff game, he needs to go deep into the playoffs to prove that he still belongs as an NFL head coach for this team. Because at a certain point, that hoorah is not going to work for our players. They've been here long enough, and they need to start seeing like, well, is he going to be able to coach us to get to the next level? Can we believe in him? There's only a certain amount of time they got left for their careers to pretty much say, we still got it. So
Zoe's like bat signal went off. It's like, did somebody say KOC's not on the hot seat? Log in.
So Keith, I will say this. I could buy what you're saying, that maybe going into the season KOC's seat is not hot, but I can give the caveat that, but there's no place for him to hide. So things could get hot real fast, and he could lose his job by the end of the season. We could be going into this with a certain mind of, yeah, his seat's not hot, and we're going to do this. We don't have a lot of expectations. And then have you ever heard the term, I had no expectations, and I was still disappointed? I mean, that could happen. And all of a sudden, opinions can change real quick, and we could be like, oh, we made a mistake. We're going to have to fix that right now.
I mean, it can't be a total shipwreck, but I think if he wins another 9 games, I don't think he's getting fired. I mean, maybe even 7 or 8 wins not getting fired. Now he goes, we win 4 games and we're in the media, like all this kind of bad stuff, and things are coming apart and the image is looking bad. Then I think he gets in trouble. I don't think he's under the gun to win a playoff game this year or even make the playoffs. Like I said, it's going to be more about how it looks than what happens.
So what can he say? Like, what can the Will say to like missing the playoffs and only winning 7 games? Like, how do you come back from the team? Like, what would the players be thinking? Missing the playoffs,
the same thing that this team's been saying for its whole existence. Like, he is one of the most winningest coaches in our franchise's history, and there are not many coaches, if you go season by season, what he's coached through, that would have the amount of wins we have.
Zimmer?
No. I don't think so.
Zimmer took time to build up.
And he had great rosters.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins got him fired, and O'Connell did better with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins.
What you kind of see with KOC though is the kind of the same thing you saw with Kwesi, right? Like Kwesi messed up, and then fans started to turn on him. It wasn't much, but it was starting to turn on him. And then you saw the results, and we saw the results from this year, and we started turning on KOC a little bit. He has another year like what we had this year. that turn on is going to be a complete 180. Fans are going to turn on him. If fans are quick to turn on Kwesi, they'll also be quick to turn on KOC.
Zoe says that I'm on that BS, ain't got no playoff wins, and KOC winning because of B-Flow. But correct me if I'm wrong. Did this team not win 13 games before B-Flow got here and had the bottom-ranked defense? Or was B-Flow doing something magical with the offense when he was with the Steelers for the Vikings?
That's because they
I think he did just fine without B-Flow.
They had Super Bowl coach Ed Donatell.
Mm-hmm.
If this offense, the Vic Fangio protege.
If this offense repeats what it did this year, I think it's over. Because not only did you repeat the same thing, you also wasted a top 10 quarterback draft pick.
McVay is of the Gruden tree, and KOC worked under McVay in that Gruden tree. It's fine you want to say he's on the Gruden tree, but he was working under McVay, who was working under Gruden, and McVay took KOC with him to the Rams, where they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. McVay is also, like he said, is under the Gruden tree. So is Kyle Shanahan. They all under the Gruden tree.
Yeah, I don't get the point behind that. Is it a bad thing? It's pretty good lineage.
Technically, it's called the Mike Holmgren tree, but
of course, a tree, another tree that has
another. And then Mike Holmgren was what? Bill Parcells. I mean,
technically, all the trees are related.
They are related. Yeah.
You guys just gave me an idea. I know who could be our next quarterback coach.
Uh-oh.
Kirk Cousins. He was under the Gruden tree.
I don't know if that would be a bad thing. I don't know if that'd be a bad thing. Do you hear him up there at the podium talking? Like,
exactly.
When he's breaking down stuff, like, I don't think that's a bad deal, but he's going to make a lot more money doing TV, so he's going to do TV. But I think Kirk Cousins would be an excellent quarterback coach.
Yeah, no, Bill Parcells developed Belichick and those guys. Holmgren's his own separate tree. He had Andy Reid and John Gruden.
This offense is difficult. I don't think anybody would disagree with this offense is difficult. You can be good at something and acknowledge its difficulty. Like, yeah, Kirk said the offense is difficult, but Kirk played very well in this offense.
So much so that Shaq even wants him back.
As a quarterback coach.
All right, Shaq, you got a Gallahorn for us?
Let me see. What was mine? Oh, okay.
Talking too much.
My Gallahorn question or my Gallahorn take was pretty much. Nope, I forgot it. It's gone. Gone with the wind.
Pretty much.
I'm buying that, Shaq.
Yeah, I'm buying it. I mean, the way that you went, the pretty much was convincing.
I had it in the back of my head, but it disappeared after I thought about the Kirk Cousins quarterback thing.
Shaq, it was fuck them picks. We're going after Caleb Downs.
Yeah, that's number one priority, and then we can go on. We go down from there.
I'm sorry, I wasn't a Kirk Cousins fan while he was here, but to say that Kirk didn't do anything for this offense is ridiculous.
He was a professional quarterback.
He was, and whether you think it means anything or not, there was stability at the position. Now, do I think we should have got a ready Case Keenum and brought him in? No, I don't. But we did, and he was a good quarterback for us.
The way he handled the ball to Dalvin Cook, masterful.
I bet you Justin Jefferson wants him. Bet you Justin Jefferson's pounding the table.
Jack's digesting that for a second.
I just remember my Gallahorn. So my Gallahorn pretty much was, I think, even if we have a winning record and win a couple playoff games with JJ McCarthy as our quarterback, I still think the fan base will find some way to hate on him as a quarterback.
Kind of the way our fan base hates on Kirk Cousins as a quarterback, even though he played well for us. I 100% am buying this, and we know a couple of them in here right here.
I buy it also.
I don't.
I'm buying that.
Yeah, I don't think JJ McCarthy will ever be predominantly loved by this fan base unless he wins the Super Bowl. Super Bowl cures all.
No, I don't even think so. I think some people would say we've won it in spite of him. You know?
Yeah, that's what
No. I mean, it's never going to be 100%, but I do think the majority would end up loving him, but only if you won a Super Bowl. Otherwise, I think it's always going to be at best a 50-50 split. Some people have their mind made up.
My thing with Kirk Cousins is the difference would be we're not paying JJ McCarthy $86 million fully guaranteed to win these games yet. It would be him winning these games under a rookie contract. So him going to the playoffs, winning a couple games, and we're only paying him what? At most, it'll probably be $10 million, $15 million. I don't know how much money he's making for that rookie contract, but it would be nowhere close to how much we had to pay Kirk Cousins, who never played it down for us. So that would be the difference for me.
But beyond this season, they are going to have to pay him more than a rookie scale contract. So eventually he will get paid. I mean, Kirk ain't do shit in the playoffs. Let's talk about, you're talking about winning the regular season. Who was our quarterback the last time we won a playoff game?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk.
Oh, my bad.
Kirk.
But yeah, I'm gonna agree with you that this fan base will never fully love JJ McCarthy because the stuff that people are saying about him and the way they're acting with him, you can't come back from, and you just got to own that.
Own it.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our purple prophecies, our weekly predictions. Who's ready to go? Cody, hit us with it.
All right, I got one, and then I'm going to head out here, guys. My purple prophecy isn't going to be dealing with Kyler Murray in the draft, and if he is available. My purple prophecy is going to be that the Minnesota Vikings will not get a special name quarterback to start over JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy will be the unquestioned starter for the 2026 season.
All right, I like it. What do you got, Fish?
Dan Campbell will be fired before KOC.
Ooh, I like that one.
I like that one. That's a good one. What do you got for Shaq?
You guys ready for a long one?
Yep.
This not gonna be anytime soon. So, the Minnesota Vikings will draft the next rookie of the year.
This season?
This season.
Okay. So not super long. Like I was expecting years and years, like for something to come true. Okay.
Oh no, just the end of the season. You know, once we're in the playoffs, and we got the rookie of the year trophy.
All right. How hot do I want to make this one? It's the start of my fandom here. Ty Felton will have over 450 receiving yards this year.
It means he's wide receiver 3.
Fish, I'm surprised you were able to hold it that long.
For who?
For the Vikings. For JJ.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the Arena League.
Whoa. No, sir. I got him 450 yards at least because that's about where Jalen Naylor's at. So I think he'll put up Jalen Naylor numbers. If he does, that means you probably had some injuries. I'm telling you, Ty Felton is putting in the puff pass. Ty Felton is putting in the work.
Do special team penalty yards count?
It would help, but no. That's funny. Pick your poison. Quinn, Leaf, Manziel, Couch, or JJ. Why does JJ got to be in this list, Bob? Like, I don't think he's there yet. I did say, yeah, it's a possibility.
Not until after this year.
Drop the Felton dream. Jay, I can't. I'm in too deep. I'm going to ride or die with Felton. You know, sometimes you got to pick a side on things, and you just got to roll with it. All right, fellas. Well, it's been a good night. I think it's time that we wrap this thing up. What are your final words, Shaq?
Final words. Continue to watch the combine. You know, it's not going to tell us everything. If you don't know these players already, you need to watch the film. Combine is just, like I said before, the final exam. It should match what you see from the film. Make sure you go check out the video Fish did with Uncle Tommy and Robbie. They did amazing work. They counted down from the 7th round all the way to the 1st round. I don't know if there's a set schedule for that, but you know, just make sure you go to the YouTube side, click the notification bell, and every time we drop the video, you should get that thing on your phone. And then if you're feeling generous, you can always send donations on the YouTube side by clicking the $sign, or you can send donations on the Cash App by clicking Let's Go, typing in $sign Let's Go, and pretty much have a great weekend, everybody.
Cody.
Yeah, again, like I always mention it after every single show, right? You guys listen to us. We can also listen to you, all right? And we just had the terrible news over the week from 2 Vikings players, and especially from one. If you need to be listened to, seek out someone that will listen to you, right? I.e., whether it's a friend of the family or it's even us on this show, we're always here. Or if it's you have to text or call the 998 number, right? So just keep the people around you, all right, around you. Don't try to exclude them, all right, away from everything. Don't isolate yourself. And it's the weekend. It's Friday, all right? Be safe out there, all right? Be good or be good at it. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm going to give Zoe a chance to talk for 2 minutes, but go ahead, Fish, your final words.
For Vikings fans, by Vikings fans, thanks to everybody for joining us, watching, commenting, bringing that knowledge. Rest in power to Rondale Moore and Rondale Whitakers. And the league year is right around the corner. Free agency is right around the corner.
Okay.
Let's see if 2 capologists can make it so we can have a nice little surprise waiting for us. As Shaq said, we're doing a little prospecting. I'm doing something with Robbie and Unc. We're working backward. We're going from the later rounds, moving towards the first, because we don't want to do things like everybody else does. It's easy to try to pick a first rounder. But, yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. And with that, I hand things over to Zoe and Colin. What up, Zoe?
Man, what up, my guy? What's the deal?
Later, guys. I got to get up.
See you, Cody.
I love you, Zoe. My bad. I got to leave while you get on, man. I have to go, man. I got a big final going on today and tomorrow.
All right, Cody.
All right, man. Take care, man. Take care, y'all. Love y'all.
I'm just about to ask Keith a question real quick. Like, I just want to know, honestly, though, bro. It's like, for real, though. Like, I be hearing what you be saying.
Okay.
My KOC not on the hot seat and this and that. But let me ask you, as a football fan, if your head coach, 4 years in, going into year 5, and he was hired to find you a quarterback and to develop that quarterback, and he failed, how can you possibly bring Kevin O'Connell back, even if he do get a playoff win? Like, what do one playoff win do when you've been for 5 years going on 6?
So he hasn't had the 4 or 5 years trying to develop a quarterback and failing. He had Kirk Cousins for the first 2 years. He barely had his quarterback play for 1 year, and that quarterback went 6-4. He had some injury issues. I don't think JJ McCarthy is a failure yet. I don't think KOC has failed with that quarterback.
Kevin O'Connell, if you forgot, he had Jared Hall. That was a train wreck.
Jared Hall was a 5th round just project.
I seen the 49ers with the last pick of the draft turn into something.
Yeah, and how often does that happen? And how many great coaches out there have there been? Lots of them. Lots of Super Bowl winning coaches that don't turn them into that.
But like, what I want to ask you, though,
that's the exception, not the rule.
Right, but you keep on saying, how can you fire a head coach who won the most regular season games in Viking history? That's what you said. But if you really look at it, what had Kirk Cousins done? What did Sam Darnold do with us? What had any quarterback we had under Kevin O'Connell do for the Minnesota Vikings? We are trying to win a Super Bowl. We trying to win playoff games. Kevin O'Connell in year 4 clearly is over his fucking head. He is not a head coach. So tell me, why would you bring back Kevin O'Connell for another year? For what? What are we getting out of Kevin O'Connell?
A winning pedigree. Like, you act like he came in and took over a team that just won the Super Bowl the year before. We weren't even a playoff team the year before. Like, he wasn't handed like a golden goose. Like, every situation, every season, there's been like difficulties where a lot of other coaches would not have come out with double-digit wins or winning a division. Like you are holding him like penalized for his success.
What success, bro? I don't give a fuck if you win 9 or 14 games. Once you win the playoffs, you win the playoffs. We want playoff wins.
We do,
absolutely. You win 15 games. So Keith, let me ask you this.
Well, he'd be better off if he was just winning 8, 9 games, but getting better every year, not making the playoffs.
Look at
if he's going to losing.
Look at Matt LaFleur. Look at Matt LaFleur.
Look at him. What am I looking at?
He backdoor every year in the playoffs, and he might come out with a playoff win.
He might come out with one?
Yeah, he won 2 playoff games.
Okay.
He never won no 14 games. But what I'm trying to tell you is you are caught up in a regular season hype. But what I'm trying to tell you is this, though.
The regular season matters. You don't get to the playoffs without the regular season. You don't get to the Super Bowl without the regular season. That matters. That's how you punch your ticket. That's how you have the opportunity.
Oh, no.
And KLC is going to give us that opportunity.
No, that's cool. But what I want to ask you, though, why you can win 14 to 18 regular season games, but you can't win a wild card game?
I mean, in that first game, how many points did we give up on defense? Like 30-something? Against the Giants. When we had the worst defense in the league, we had to fire the defensive coordinator.
Who was the head coach?
KOC.
So why you ain't fired that motherfucker during the season when you knew he was ass? That's your fault. That's your fault. You are the head coach. That's your fault. That's fall on you, my man. When you are a head coach, you have to make tough decisions. If you know your defense was lacking and was a liability, you need to fire that coach and go from there. You don't get no cool points for that. You should have been fired, motherfucking Ed Donatell. So, but all I'm asking though is, I see Vikings fans all on Twitter talking about Kevin O'Connell. Oh, he needs this quarterback. What quarterback do Kevin O'Connell need to win a playoff game? We had Sam Darnold in the building. He was a train wreck the last 2 games of the season. He go to Seattle, a better play caller. He win a fucking Super Bowl. When our Vikings fans are going to look at Kevin O'Connell and say, maybe this fucking head coach ain't who the fuck, we thought Kevin O'Connell was Mike McDaniel in Seattle. That's what we thought KOC was. Clearly he not.
I mean, that's your belief, and that's fine. And I get why you're upset with KOC, but I see a coach with a winning pedigree, and it has not worked out, but he's made the playoffs 2 out of 4 years, and that matters.
But what I'm trying to, I don't know, bro. But the part I'm trying to understand with you is, How do you say it matter when it don't take 4 or 10 years to rebuild a team to make a team win in the playoffs? We had yet to get playoff success under Kevin O'Connell, mainly due to his fucking play calling. We all
You
thought
think you think KOC's been the one building this roster? You think KOC's the one that brings in the older players?
Come on, man. Who you think doing that shit, man?
The guy who doesn't have a job anymore.
Bro, who brought so I'm gonna ask you this. Who brought in the 2 defensive tackles we got on defense?
I mean,
are we talking about Hargrave and Allen?
Who brought them in?
I mean,
I know what you're gonna say because you listen to the other podcast, so you're gonna say it was Rob Brzezinski.
I don't listen to shit. I told you 2 months ago that the Minnesota Vikings wanted Jameson Winston and Jameson Williams, and you told me no. I never heard that before. I said, bro, it's reports out. That's who Kwesi wanted. People told him to trade down. Kwesi never fucking signed them 2 defensive tackles. Rob listened to B-Flow and got them. It's the truth.
That was Kwesi's decision to trade down. Down. You wild.
Bro, they told him to trade down. Reports is out.
They didn't tell him. You know what told him to trade down? The analytics said to trade down. And he listened to the analytics.
They told him to trade down.
They did not tell him to trade down. The analytics did.
Hey, so Zoe, you know I'm not too far off from you, right? Right on your I'm not too. So let me offer this to you. What head coach do you think could be successful with the draft track record that we had while he was head coach? I mean, we didn't draft worth of shit.
No.
We kind of got that overachiever moniker in his second year, right? Where we won the second year? Well, no, the first year we definitely were called overachievers. And with Sam Darnold as our QB, we were predicted to finish last in the division, so we were called overachievers again.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not too far off from you, but what I'm trying to present to you is Kwesi's the scapegoat, right?
Yeah.
He can't draft. He botched his signings. He wasn't giving KOC the soldiers to carry out what he needed to do. So that's why KOC is getting the grace that he's getting, is because they're saying you turn chicken shit into chicken salad.
Right.
Well, now you're kind of the chef now. You're not just the guy who's the coach. But you got more say, and you're more permanent, which is why I think he's getting the grace.
I feel you, Fish. But at the end of the day, like, I don't give a fuck about Kwesi getting fired. I really don't. But I feel like KOC should have got fired too. Because at the end of the day, could Keith act like he don't see none of these reports? Kwesi wanted Harbaugh to be his head coach. It wasn't.
Oh, I don't doubt that. That I don't doubt. But
what I'm telling you, the people in the triangle wanted KOC to be the head coach. That's why Kevin O'Connell got hired. But what I'm telling you, fuck them NFL draft picks. If you can win 14 or 15 regular season games, why you can't win the playoff game? That's what we talking about.
Overachievers.
Problem with that is
somebody tell me why. Somebody tell me why.
My problem with that is
playoff game.
It's
because they won 13,
like,
14 games out of 17. There've only been 2 playoff games. You know, if they play 17 playoff games, they might win 14 of them.
If we're going to go into it, that first year, if you remember, everybody was fussing because every time we were playing somebody, their quarterback was hurt. A key positional player was hurt. So we were being accused of being frauds because we were getting very weakened teams that we were beating with the worst defense. And so we got exposed.
I feel you. What up, though, Colin?
What up, Colin?
What's going on? How we doing today?
Hey, man, listen. All I'm saying is, though, Keith, you like the part that drives me crazy with Keith. He really know deep inside, but he won't come out and be vocal with the shit. bro.
I am vocal with it.
No,
That's what I believe. Like, do I think KOC is perfect? No, I don't. I don't think he's perfect.
It ain't that though, Keith. After 4 years in, do it. I'm gonna ask you this though. Do a zebra lose his motherfucking stripes?
When a lion eats his ass, yeah.
I was trying to think of something like that. I'm
gonna be real with y'all, man. like I'm not like Keith. I want to say this though. I'm not coming at you or nobody on y'all platform. It's the shit I see on Twitter. I see Vikings fans. All they saying is Kevin O'Connell need this. Like, what the fuck do Kevin O'Connell need? He had Sam Darnold. That wasn't good enough. He had Kirk Cousins. That wasn't good enough. He had Dobbs. He had Hard. He had Max Brosman, J.J. McCarthy, 2 other quarterbacks. So what quarterback is really good for this motherfucker for y'all to realize maybe our head coach ain't who the fuck we think he is?
He probably needs like Patrick Mahomes or
no, but see,
Josh
Allen. You need to go ask that question to Twitter because you haven't heard none of us say he needs this, he needs that, he needs this. I told you he has not failed with JJ McCarthy. Like, that's still a work in progress. I'm not here saying that he needs this or that. He got the most out of a Sam Darnold. He got more than anybody got out of Sam Darnold before. Like Fitch said, he has overachieved most seasons that we have done good. So he's kind of a victim of his own success. We weren't expected to win 13, 14 games. We were predicted to win 6, 7 games, but he doubled that up. So now he's a victim of his success. I see you, Shaq.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's cool and all though, but in 4 years, I expect at least a playoff win. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit though. Like, how you go 4 years with no playoff win? The only coach in the NFC North, even Ben Johnson raggedy ass, went to the raggedy ass Bears and won the fucking playoff game and almost beat the fucking Rams.
Who's their quarterback?
Caleb Williams.
Enough said.
Ain't enough said. If you don't know, Caleb Williams were right behind J.J. McCarthy in the fucking completion rate. Caleb Williams wasn't great last year, but he ran the fucking football.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have to agree with him with the way that and when Ben Johnson called plays in Detroit, when Detroit was winning, they had the 2 running backs and they had the big offensive line, and I think that's where the Vikings really need to think about getting in that direction, because as much as we want to build up Darisaw, as much as we want to build up O'Neal, these guys are getting older. Like, you need, and they've been injured. You need to get an offensive. You need to get offensive line depth, because if I have to see Ryan Skol out there for one more play, I'm gonna put my head into a fan.
But Colin, like I told you before, a Fish and Shaq. Like, let's be real. We can stop blaming the offensive line. Because we see 3 offensive linemen.
But I'm not blaming the offensive line. I'm saying they haven't been healthy, and I'm not letting KOC off the hook. They need to run the ball more. You run the ball in cold weather to win championships. That's how you get to where you are.
But all I'm really trying to say is this. Because clearly the Minnesota Vikings listen to the fan base. When is the fucking fan base going to turn on Kevin O'Connell? The shit is over with. That's what we need. We need 90% of the fan base. All that KOC love, fuck that. KOC ain't it. We need the fan base to turn on this motherfucker so the ownership can move on from him.
I think the ownership is part of the problem, though. I think the ownership is part of the problem, though, and I said it in the comments. They're fine with being in the tournament. Like, this isn't hockey. You don't have a 7-game series to go and try and get to the next round. You have 1 game to win, and then you go on to another game, and that's how you move up in the playoffs. It's a 1-game series. This isn't best of 3. This isn't best of 5. You need to win and go. And you need to be able to run the ball. And if you can't run the ball, you're going to have a really hard time making it. It's as simple as that.
But I gotta say,
What up, Timmy?
though, my bad.
Hey, brother.
A Fish and Shaq, I apologize tonight, bro.
For what?
I done got on the
You're just letting out your frustration, buddy. You're just letting out your frustration.
I know you've been holding it in for 45 minutes.
Yeah, for real though. And what Keith at? Man, somebody call
Right
Keith.
here. I'm right here.
Oh yeah, that's what
I
I'm
had to
looking
get
for.
I had to get a beverage.
That's what I'm looking for. Cause that, hey
Hey,
Fish,
Keith was thirsty.
that's what I'm looking for. Cause I always hear Keith when y'all be talking about the Vikings. It's always something that like he be low key vouching for Kevin O'Connell.
I don't think
And
it's
I
low
don't
key.
like that. I don't like that.
Why?
Cause he ain't shit, Keith.
I mean, that's not all we talk about. Like, what's going on here? Got a freaking panel.
Now we got a full panel. I think we signed off about 15 minutes ago.
We did sign off, and now everybody, welcome to Let's Skol After Dark.
Yes.
Well, or as we like to call, a Skol and Chill.
Okay, in my opinion, in my lifetime, the two best Vikings teams were the 09 team with Favre and Randall Cunningham in 98. And why were they the best teams, in my opinion? And I think the 09 team was better than the 98 team, and I'll tell you why. Because the 09 team was more balanced on both sides of the ball. Yes, the 98 offense was absolutely insane. But John Randall and maybe Ed McDaniel were it on defense. That was it. If you look at the 09 team, you had 15 Pro Bowlers on that team. Both sides of the ball, offensive, defensive line, secondary, wide receivers, quarterback, running back. They had it all. And they kicked it away, literally. They kicked that one away against the Saints.
It's to the point though, y'all, like
you need to run. They need to draft better and run the ball. That's what they need to do. That's the bottom line.
I'm gonna ask y'all this though. I don't know if y'all heard or not, but the Minnesota Vikings said they are going to rework T.J. Hawkinson's contract.
Yeah, no, I saw that.
They basically have to at this point.
Yeah, it's too much
I think
money.
they were working some of the veterans' contracts this year to have some more playing money.
And guess what, Zoe? You're gonna love this one too, because you know who else they're gonna rework and extend? Brian O'Neill.
Well, they kind of need to. They need to do that with O'Neal, but
They absolutely have to.
Hawkinson is a little bit of a surprise.
Look at with what you save on Hawkinson, you're not gonna go out and get a better tight end with that cap money.
A better tight end. You get that shit from the NFL draft.
Who's in the NFL draft besides
I don't
Sadiq?
think Sadiq is as good as Hawkinson, but I think you put yourself in a corner by signing Hawkinson to that contract. I didn't mind the trade for Hawkinson, but the re-signing of him, considering what we gave up to get him, was a bit much.
But y'all know what the problem is with the Vikings, man? The Minnesota Vikings do not know when to move off of motherfucking players.
That's a good point.
Addison,
That's a good
Hawkinson,
I don't think that's
Harrison Smith.
Hunter.
They ass and need to be
Hunter.
off the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't think that they don't know to move off of Hawkinson. I just think they're in a rough place of trying to move off of him.
How?
And there's nobody.
Because they owe him a lot of money.
Nobody's going to trade for Hawkinson. Not with
That's a lot
the
of dead cap.
Who
Get a
just
tight
said?
end from the get a tight
Who
end
just
from
said
the
they owe him a lot of
draft
money?
this year.
I think they need to play Oliver more. I think he's criminally underplayed. I like Oliver a lot.
But who said the Vikings can't move on because they owe him a lot of money?
Well, no, I'm saying another team. Another team's not going to take. Another team's not going to take all that salary. That's the problem. It's not that they don't want to move on from him. It's just they've put themselves in a corner by signing him for too much, and another team isn't going to take on his salary. There's no way.
At the time we signed him, it was not too much. It's just he had a knee injury he can't come back from.
Well, he's the highest paid. No, he has the highest cap number of a tight end in the NFL. That's the problem.
Yeah, I get it, but at the time we signed him, he was worth every penny.
We don't do this anymore. So I want to hear from Jedi, but Zoe, go ahead. What are you going to say about TJ Hawkinson's contract that it's not a lot of money?
What I want to say is, I see the Denver Broncos move over Russell Wilson, who had a crazy fucking cap hit, and they made the playoff 2 years in a row after they got rid of fucking Russell Wilson. So don't tell me TJ Hawkinson cap hit is too fucking much.
They were not $43 million over the cap.
No.
The Vikings are.
Bro, Russell Wilson cap hit was crazy.
He was, but he was the only one they were paying money to, so it was easy for him to move off of Russell Wilson.
They had more cap space.
They had a lot more cap space. There wasn't anybody they were paying big money to. Because they moved off Von Miller, they'd moved off of a couple other guys that were big money.
So what? Eat the money, move the fuck on. It don't matter.
But they can't eat the money. That's the problem. A lot of that money's guaranteed. That's the problem. They can't really eat it. That's the problem.
You can move that shit around. Pay that shit. Move off. Move the fuck off. Nobody
I'm
big foot-legged ass
okay
out
with
there.
moving off of Hawkinson, but just saying, there's not another team that's going to take a whole lot of it. That's the problem.
You never know. It's a food born every day. You never know.
I think they're definitely taking calls if there are any calls to be made. I mean, you heard them say that they're entertaining trade offers for Javon Hargrave. Nobody's taking that
Nobody's going to take it. That's the problem. These are bad contracts. That's the problem.
Jedi, what's up,
What
man?
up, Jedi?
I'm floored at the arrogance. KOC wants to win, but KOC doesn't want to win the way his team is constructed to win. If he could get out of his own way and commit to a different scheme or have somebody else run plays, I think this team actually might have a shot at building something.
There's a difference between a coach and being a coordinator. Like, if you're the head coach, you have to coordinate the whole team.
I hear what you're saying, Jedi, and I think we all think that KOC should run the ball more. Don't you think he realizes that, seeing the assistant coach we brought in and the offensive line coach we brought in, they are all run-oriented people. Like that, their schemes are all run-oriented. That tells me that he is moving in that direction to get help running the ball. He sees that's more of a need. I think his ego did get to him this season because all that exterior noise coming in was telling him to run the ball. It's like, oh, I'm not listening to all this noise and doing it. I'm going to keep doing it my way. But I do think when he had time to marinate on it, he realized what the right thing was to do, and he is bringing in running help. I do think there will be a bigger emphasis on running the ball.
It shouldn't have taken him until week
10.
11, 10 or 11 to get there. That's what I struggle with. It's
I think it's arrogance to get to him, but there's also a misconception that all of a sudden they're running the ball like 70% of the time. Like they were running the ball 5 to 6 more times a game than they were before. Like, wasn't this?
Well, the thing is, you have a rookie quarterback, though. You have a quarterback that came from a run-heavy college, and he hadn't played in 2 years. I mean, that his whole thing at that college was they had a huge offensive line. They had Blake Corum. Like, they ran the ball like crazy. So adapt to what your quarterback is. And he was a handed
I agree. I do agree with that. It was a mistake to think J.J. McCarthy was going to come in last year and be Kirk Cousins or Sam Darnold.
Yeah, that was totally off.
But if we're that team, right? If we all sit there and like actually come to terms with if that's the direction, if they want to stick with McCarthy and that's his strong suit, what are we doing with the number one paid receiver, highest paid receiver in the league? Like Justin Jefferson isn't going to be maximized.
I like this guy.
No, you are right. That would be weird. Like if we're gonna become a running team to have the highest paid wide receiver, it's weird to have the highest paid wide receiver.
But isn't that just what the Vikings do though? They want to have their cake and eat it too. Like I don't understand what they're trying to do. Like that's why I don't know if these owners are serious. Like get in the building.
The better question is if they're going to pay Addison as the number 2 wide receiver and pay him huge money too. Like you got to draw a line of demarcation there, because if you pay both of those guys, you might as well just fire O'Connell now. You pay them both.
I think they trade Addison.
No, they need to trade Addison.
Yeah, but they
should have traded them at the trade deadline this year. You think Buffalo wouldn't have given up a first round pick for Addison? He's crazy. They would have given him a first round pick.
the last 2 off seasons, he has a DUI, plus he has got in trouble in Florida.
He got exonerated from that, but either way, I mean, yeah, I would have moved on from him.
But I mean, realistically though, I don't think this roster is anywhere close to ready to pop. So in efforts, if you can get the most, now I think JJ Jefferson is a stand-up guy. He's been nothing, no problems, diva. He's been nothing but a stand-up guy
JJ
for the organization.
McCarthy until 28.
Jefferson, yeah, Jefferson's a stand-up guy for the organization. But if you can get 2 1s, and if you're trying to build this team back up with the bad drafts, I think you have to go that direction. You can't be a old, rich, overpaid roster and think that you're gonna like excel JJ McCarthy. You know what I mean?
So you think they should re-sign Addison too?
No, there was a time when the Vikings had no receivers when they came out with Diggs and Thielen, right? Diggs was a 5th-round pick, and Thielen is an undrafted free agent.
Yeah,
I think you can walk on. You can get receivers at a much higher a clip in the draft than you can like quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And then you can't.
Well, they've had a good history of finding wide receivers. That's the thing. Like, I'm not worried about the Vikings. I'm not worried about the Vikings' ability to find a wide receiver. Over the history of the last 20, 30 years, they've been able to find that. That's not a problem. They need to get a running back again. I mean, when they had Adrian Peterson, they were killing it. Even Chester Taylor was killing it.
For what? We don't run the ball.
I know, but I'm saying if you get a running back drafting a running back, huh?
Be honest though.
We're starting to go that direction of running the football now with the new coaches that just came in. So we're starting to go that direction a little bit.
If they focus on running the ball, they're going to be a better team. There's no getting around it.
Be honest though. Who thinks JJ McCarthy is going to stay healthy for an entire season in this panel?
I think it's possible.
I give
because
that's a tall order. That's a tall order.
We need to get depth on offensive line for sure.
He never had an injury history before.
If JJ gets protection, if JJ gets more protection, he might be healthy all season.
I mean, that's even the first game and that second game. It was like a shootout at the OK Corral. I mean, the Bears sacked him like 6 times the first time, and I want to say the Atlanta game he got sacked like 8 or 9 times. Like he was getting. So who is that on?
What you said about the Justin Jefferson? It is exactly what I just said a couple minutes ago. The Minnesota Vikings do not know when to trade motherfucking players.
Well, Addison's the right trick. He can get the best return.
Why the fuck Harrison Smith playing for 15 years for the Vikings anyway? Like, why?
Yeah, Harrison.
Yeah, we could have like 2 Theo Jacksons back there.
It don't matter who's back there for real, but why Harrison Smith back there? He taking reps away from younger players.
Yeah, I trying to trade this whole core, and then by God's magic way, somehow, once we get rid of Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Harrison Smith retires, we're gonna somehow be in the Super Bowl next year. Is what y'all telling me? Oh, not next year. 2 years.
We got to work at it.
You willing to bet your mortgage if we trade Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Harrison Smith retire that we'll be in the Super Bowl next year?
I didn't say Jefferson. I said Addison. I said I don't want them to trade Jefferson. I said Addison.
I made Adrian Peterson, right? Is that easy?
But I made this point though the other day too. How many Super Bowl winning teams have a receiver making Justin Jefferson money win the Super Bowl though?
None.
Exactly.
And how many winners? How
many? AJ Brown made a lot for Philly 2 years ago.
A 40-year-old motherfucking playing safety.
Yeah, you're talking one team though out of the last how many seasons? One team.
I mean, out of the last couple seasons, it's only been the same 2 teams going to the Super Bowl: the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Even before that,
Vikings ownership wants younger
Tom
players.
Brady.
They're trying to shy away from the.
Nobody made got the same thing in general. The quarterback, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Who else been to the Super Bowl? Matthew Stafford,
Jalen Hurts.
But none of them had receivers making Justin Jefferson money though.
AJ Brown
not getting paid yet.
That was
He not
last
getting
year.
paid.
This sounds like me and Fish 3 years ago. Before they paid him. Like,
Yeah. Get
I
rid of
don't know,
him.
man. I
you don't
don't
pay
know,
wide
y'all.
receiver this money. Who's ever won a Super Bowl paying a wide receiver that much money?
Let me just
Who
say
did
this
it,
to you,
though?
fellas. The last time a Super Bowl team had the highest paid wide receiver was the Seahawks, and it was Sidney Rice, and it was $9 million, and I don't even think he played in the Super Bowl, and that was before the market broke. Wide receivers are a luxury position. Okay, fine, we've paid JJ.
And Sidney Rice was the price of that before that.
Let's keep him, but we don't need to be paying nobody else in a receiver position, tight ends or nothing, high dollar picks. We've got our superstar in our face of the franchise, Justin Jefferson. Just get draft picks and low cost free agents that can still put out a little bit. We should be just fine. Guys, I'm going to talk to Keith. Maybe we can get a Skol and Chill going one Saturday night here soon, so that way we can do this some more and we can banter about back and forth. But I think we got to call it. We got to pull the plug.
What's up?
Right.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
I appreciate y'all bringing me on tonight, though.
Hey, thanks, brothers. Appreciate you guys.
Stay tuned. Have a good one.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Smith.
All right. Well, we will be back on Friday night doing Let's Skol things next week. There will be a couple weeks where we got to do a Friday instead of Thursday. Next week will be one of those weeks. And like Fish said, we'll get a Skol and Chill going on a Saturday night. And that's where the whole episode is just bringing people from the chat on and kind of doing what we did right there. That was a Skol and Chill preview. So we will get one of those set up and it'll be lots of fun. But until next Friday, let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go! For Vikings fans, Minnesota Vikings.